You say that I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space, just my luck. Put me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand, come on.
Greetings. Welcome to the Make It Flick. Good Lord, I'm so loud. Greetings. Welcome to the Make It Flicky Palace. And this is Dr. A. And I am your crystal vocal goddess. And I'm definitely here to do a quick video. Now, I know that I've been reacting on these mommies. And yeah, I could probably, well, let me first talk before we get started with the questions. Originally, let me explain some things before we get started. Well, first of all, when I originally started this platform, of course, you all know I was on this. Good Lord, here we go. Y'all know this dang old thing is probably getting low, and I probably got to charge it or something. Here we go. Hold on. So, anyway, when I first started, I started doing like healing and yada yada yada. Again, how you doing, Miss Michelle? How you doing, Pine? Welcome to the Make It Flicky Palace. Okay. Well, when I originally started, I started doing like healing stuff, and I was talking about like, stuff like that and what was going on and yada yada yada. My business, basically, right? And then just healing stuff, the healing apparatus, and I was trying to teach people how to do different things. If you can go back, and then I started doing, and then I wanted to do movie reviews because I love movies. And so I was kind of trying to talk about certain parts of my passions on here. Well, I wouldn't really get no traction there. So of course I found, and then I went to the this one sector that talked about cults and stuff, and I was in their sector, and I was very passionate about that. And I loved I loved a lot of the people that was in that sector. It was pretty good. I met a lot of good people along the ways, but I think it got really toxic, because of the whole energy with dealing with like low vibrational. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about none of the people that was in that sector, but I'm referring to the people that they were talking about were low vibrational. And here lately, what's the live about? I'm going to really let you know what the live is about. So, and anywho, I found myself like this past couple of days, I didn't understand why my energy was kind of like, eh. And it's because I've been watching the same stuff. And so somebody did a comment on one of my posts, and they was just like, why are you judging? Blah, 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 the usual mess. And I'm like, we all judge. We all do really judge, right? It's not a day that we don't come on here and judge. And how you doing, Moonlight? Welcome to the Make It Flicky Palace. So it's always a day that we come on here and judge. We always talk about people. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? Especially, mommies within this sector. And I just really, and I've always told y'all when I first started this platform, first of all, I like this sector, let's just be clear about that. I like this sector because I'm very passionate about mommying, and I want to learn a lot of stuff because it's some new stuff that go on that, I may want to put within my, home and things like that, that you can learn here on YouTube. And definitely, YouTube is just like watching TV, soap operas and stuff like that. So, we like it here on the YouTube streets, right? Because it's some really good information. And then also it's a lot of messy good things that we like to laugh about, right? We like messy, right? Let's just keep it real. I like messy too sometimes. I do. But in my personal life, do I do messy? No, I promise you. I swear to God. Now, my only person, my personal life, only other person that I gossip with is my daughter. Like my daughter called me and tell me something that happened with people that we know, right? And we'll just be talking about them. How you doing? Don't need no me. Don't need. Welcome to the Big Complete Palace. So for us, we pretty much gossip, right? I ain't gonna lie, right? And then we laugh and then we get off the phone, right? Or we'll go out to dinner or we'll hang out and that kind of thing. I'm chill. My daughter's in her 30s, so my daughter's in she's middle age. So, me being 50, we are definitely able to have a good conversation, a good old laugh. Okay. But again, I've always told y'all that I wanted to branch out. And every time I try to branch out, a lot of times I don't get the numbers. And again, I'm trying to, you know, make this, and I'm not gonna lie. Some people come over here and they're like, oh, I don't care. I don't, I'm on YouTube for fun. Yeah, I'm on here for fun, but I'm on here also to make some money. I ain't gonna lie, right? I am on here to make some money. I'm not asking y'all to dip in y'all pockets and give me money. I'm just saying watching video would suffice and give me money, right? Because I don't beg people, but if y'all want to give me a super chat, I'll take it. Or cash out, whatever. But this will be another income for me on top of the businesses that I have, and then the fact that I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I definitely get some rewards in doing that. So it is what it is. But again, I told you I definitely want to branch out, and I don't want to wait till I get into the mode of really, really making that money. So suppose like next week or 2 weeks from now or a month from now, all of a sudden I get this really good video and I do this really good video, and then let's say I'm clowning my jazzy life, and then I go viral and I make it this big, I'm making some decent money, right? I'm making at least $2,000. But that's something for you. That's something for YouTube for me. That's YouTube. That's not my personal income or what I'm making in my business or what I'm making with the other things that I do, right? Not saying that, right? But what I'm saying is for YouTube, that'd be great for me, just to be honest with you. Whatever you decide to do, I will be there for you, Dr. A. Thank you so much, Miss Michelle. So I think now is the time for me to branch out. I don't think I should wait. And I'm just looking at a lot of the reactors now, and not just the reactors, but the investigator that we have in this sector, Flo and different people like that. They've already branched out. So why do I need to wait to get the big numbers in order to branch out? I would like to start now. I want to start now because it is really, let's be honest with y'all, we can only do so much on my jazzy life. We can only talk about her so much. I mean, I'm not saying that we won't revisit her on occasion. Yes, if something's popping off, like let's say Chris came back or something, and Chris, something happened with Chris, or Chris came to somebody's platform and he did an interview. Let's say Chris did an interview with Flo or whatever. Y'all know I'm gonna be in that. Y'all know I'm gonna be like, yo, Flo, you gotta hook a sister up. You know what I mean? So of course I'm gonna still support a lot of folk are here on this channel, but I kind of want to, if with your permission, and hopefully you all follow me. If not, then I will, hopefully I can grow even further. But I definitely want to branch out now. So I really didn't want to do a reaction on mommies tonight. I know y'all probably usually expect me. I just don't feel like it. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just only so much that we can do. It's only so much we can discover. And again, it is one mommy that I'm going to do reaction on. And I was sent that at really early this morning, and I've been looking. I'm researching right now, and I would like if you all can still be patient with me. Still gonna act the fool. We still gonna clown. We still gonna have fun. But I just want to do reactions on mommies that really are, that have a lot more. Like I'm not saying that I'm not going to still do some of the ghetto moms. I think we still should do them on occasion, but they got to be doing something like, Chris got to come back, or let's say something happens, then we can talk about it if y'all want to. If y'all bring it to my attention, I'm not going to go and be doing it unless y'all bring it to my attention or it's something y'all want to do, then let's do it. But that's kind of what I want to do. I want to go ahead and start moving into areas of, bringing new people to the sector, new people, new energy. We already got a lot of new people, right? So we want to get into more mommies that we have more in common with. Like, I have nothing in common with my Jazzy Life other than even when I was uh, on low income, just to be honest with you. What will be the new topics? Girl, sis, Pine, whatever you want the new topics to be, that's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about anything and everything. I don't care. I would like to talk about anything and everything. We can talk about new mommies who really have. How you doing, son? Welcome to the Mickey Flick House. I want to talk about mommies who really have a lot more going on for themselves. Like even Erica. I tried to do Erica with what's her name, Love by Erica, and a lot of y'all didn't want to come around for that. She got a little bit more than somebody like my Jazzy Life. Creole Bay got a little bit more. She has a regular job and she has her channel, right? So she has a decent job. So it's just certain mommies that, anybody that you all would like to bring over here, I would welcome, right? But I want them to have, even when I was on low income, and I've been on low income when I was like, but let me tell you what age I was. See what I that's what I left off from you all. The last time I was on low income when I was 18 years old. And 18, I stayed on low income probably from 18 to 19 years old. Maybe it was 17, excuse me. I think it was 17. I think I was 17 year old. I was like 18, 17 through 18 through 19-ish. Does that make sense? And I think that they tried to give me a voucher when I hit 20. And by then I had already left that apartment by then. And I had moved into another place. And some of my stuff was still there. And I was getting rid of that stuff because I didn't want it anymore because I had already upgraded. But yes, I want to do Just Jasmine. Just Jasmine is although she's in a 2 bedroom, but I like her. I like to react on her. Sometimes Wine Glass, just she low budget too, but I don't know. Every now and then, when y'all would like to, we can do her. We can do Strong Mommy Chrissy on occasion. Do I want to do a lot of Strong Mommy Chrissy? Not necessarily. Every now and then. Wine Glass every now and then. I like reacting on Just Jasmine. Um, I like react. I mean, my numbers already is not that high, right? Let's be honest. Are my numbers higher now? No, they're not. They're not. The last couple of days, I've been reacting on Jasmine. I've been reacting on Liv. I done reacted on Nikia. I reacted on Sky. You know what I mean? And I do Sky occasionally. I can't really do Jasmine unless Jasmine got something going on deep. But I definitely don't want, to be honest with you, I don't want nothing to do with Liv. To be honest with y'all, I just don't want nothing to do with Liv, because Liv is not doing nothing with her life, and I don't see her progressing, and she's not going to progress. Chrissy, Jasmine, nothing. Liv, nothing. I'm just tired of talking about the colorist Liv. I'm tired of talking about Jasmine, because she don't, I mean, she had she had a nice house when she first got there, right? I just don't. I'm just being honest with you. I don't really have nothing in common with these mommies. So I don't really, yeah, Chrissy, I mean, she's not bad. No, she's not bad, but I mean, she octo mom, but I mean, she she a Leo. So a lot of Leos have that charm, and a lot of times people like a Leo because a Leo is a likable person. They charm you. They charm their way into your heart, right? So that's what Chrissy. But of course, I live with a Leo, so I already know how a Leo operates, right? Wine glass is disgusting. I mean, I don't really want to. Do I really? It's just I don't know. It's just I don't want to say what I really want to say because it'll be really nasty and negative. But I'm trying. Yeah, she ghetto, y'all. It's just ghetto. Some of these mommies is really ghetto. And just because, and what I'm trying to tell you, you can even stay in the ghetto. Just because you live in a ghetto or you live in an inner city or you live in poverty, that does not make you ghetto. It's really about the state of mind. Don't get it twisted. I'm bougetto. I can be bougetto at times, right? And when I get on here, I'm certainly, Peach is definitely rude. When I get on here, I certainly, that bougetto energy definitely comes out. It certainly, I promise you. Rose, I think Identify Baby Daddy is a skit to get views. Liv is doing too much. Right. I'm tired of her. I'm really tired of her. I'm tired of talking about her. I'm tired of her. The children are beautiful. Don't get it twisted, but I'm tired of dealing with that whole fiasco regarding her children and Gerard. I don't listen. Look, I have dark skinned children. I have light skinned children. I am not a colorist, and I don't be wanting to talk about her. And it's just the kid, CPS, the system has failed her and her family. It is just disgusting. They should come over there and snatch all those children up. I'm tired of looking at that nasty food that she cooks. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I'm just doing it because y'all want me to do it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Can I just tell y'all the truth? I'm just gonna be honest with the person I am for real in real life. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't watch these damn channels. when I just started reacting because I got monetized off of them. Yeah, and the kids disgusting. I'm telling you, Liv is too much drama and lies. I just can't. I'm sorry. It's hard. It's hard to watch it. It is so hard to watch it. I don't even know what the direction really. I mean, I know what I want to do, but I've just been, can I be honest with you? I've just been afraid. How you doing, Mimi? Welcome to the Mickey Flicky Palace. Doctor, do you like and are you willing to react on who do I like? Oh, girl, I like a lot of stuff, y'all. I like mafia stuff, to be honest with y'all. But I know I'm not going to talk about. I don't want to talk about it because I don't feel confident in talking about that. So I'm not going to talk about it. I want to do mommies. I don't care. I want to do mommies that got some stuff. They got some stuff going on. If they in school, if they in college, I don't care if they young. I don't care if they old, but I want to react. I want to do reactions on mommies that got some stuff and that's doing some things with their life. Just a little tad bit more than what these mommies are doing over. Again, I'm not jumping out of the sector. I'm not saying I'm leaving, but what I'm saying is I got to do a mix because it is so toxic. It's just I just listen. I look, y'all. I don't want to mess up because again, y'all know I'm a life coach. My real business is that I help people to be better, right? So just imagine this. I just put yourself in my shoes for a second now. I gotta have a real conversation with y'all. Please just listen to me. Do you understand that I'm a life coach? Not only just a life coach, and I know some of y'all will get on here and be like, "Oh, a life coach ain't nothing." I know a lot of times people say there's not really such thing, and why you didn't go to be a therapist because I look at therapy differently, and I know that how I am, and I knew that they probably would take my license if I was a therapist. Take your breaks. I'm definitely on mine right now. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. So they would probably take my license if I was a therapist because I'm unconventional and I do things out of the box. I'm not like most people, as y'all can probably tell. I'm not like even my reactions is not like normal, right? I know the reactors stop on the mommies, but I like these crazy mommies. Yeah, but y'all got to give me, y'all gonna have to give me some. I tell you what, this is how we'll do it. Y'all got to let me do a balance of mommies. Y'all got to let me do a balance of mommies because this is a lot. Y'all know that I'm a healer. And it's like, and they be making me mommies be really pissing me off personally. I'm telling you, because I be really like, why are you doing this? And I just want to shake them and go, stop it. And it's just, and then it's the energy that comes with it. And I don't want to, I just don't want to. I want to have a. I don't want to get into it with nobody, y'all. I just don't. I don't want no beef with nobody in this sector, and it's just. I don't feel like I don't want to be arguing. I don't want to be going to. I want to be able to go to be people platforms. Okay, let's just have a real conversation. Oh hell no, y'all want to talk? Let's talk. And please don't drop. Don't be negative toward nobody nobody in this sector, because I don't have no issues with nobody in this sector. I really don't. And I'm not, and people can call me a fence rider or whatever you want to say, but I'm not, I don't feel like getting into it with nobody. I just want to chill. I want to have fun. And it's just, the fun is not fun in it right now. That's just what it is. It's just not funny. And I came here because I feel like everybody's cool with me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I was having fun, and I like going to different people's channels and laughing, and it's not like that no more. So I feel like I'm just feel like I feel like if I go to this one channel, then this other person gonna see me in this other channel and be like, "Oh, Dr. A is over there with her," and it's like, no, I'm just chilling. I like her content. She cool. She never did nothing to me, right? And then I go to another channel. Oh, I don't like her. Why you over there? And I don't feel like that. That's like high school. Y'all gotta understand something. Like, listen. When I was in high school, I used to get picked on because I was weird and awkward, but I was always the type of person that I could go over to the app. This has just been my personality. This, how you doing, Happy? Welcome to the Big Freaky Dollars. This has just been my personality. I've always been able, and I was the little weird girl that used to wear mohawk and safety pins in our ear and nose, and that was just me, y'all. And I used to wear different kind of color Converse. I have a red Converse on the right side, a left Converse on the left side. I have like a purple Converse. You get what I'm saying? And I'm always been weird. I've been weird my whole entire life, and it's just like I'm still weird, y'all. I'm weird as heck. You know what I'm saying? I raised my children to be weird. My children were actually normal though, surprisingly, except for one kid. But you know, that's neither here nor there. But they still got some of my ways. But again, I just don't, and then it's like guilt, because I have this thing where I feel like I'm loyal. Y'all got to understand something. I know this is just YouTube, and I'm a loyal person, and I don't, I don't want all that. I don't need all that chaos. Now I'll bang on these mommies. I will bang on these mommies any given Sunday, and if they send any of their people over here, they can get it right. They gonna get it. It's just cut dry. I don't have no problem with that. And it's not even a situation where I'm worried, oh, this person gonna do this to me. I don't have no fear of a lie, but a lie. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest with y'all. Now, again, y'all might hear me say Jesus sometime. I'm metaphysical. And because I'm metaphysical, I tap into all. I tap into Allah. I tap into Buddha. I tap into Jesus. I type into God. Should I get over there and type into the Orishas on you? You understand what I'm saying? I play with dolls. You know what I'm talking about? So again, I just don't want all that. I want to be able to have fun. I don't want to be scrutinized because I like this person, or I like this other person, or I like two people that don't like each other. And I just don't feel like that. Y'all got to understand something. Again, when I was in high school, I can go over to the athlete table. I was on the drill team, right? My first 2 years of high school. Okay. So I can go to the athlete table, and they'll be like, "What's up? What's up? What's up?" I ain't gonna tell you about my name my parents gave me, because I don't use that. Even if y'all go and find that name, because you can find it, just look it up. But Amira is my real name. Okay, seriously, that's my legal name. I changed my name a few years ago. Okay, and I don't want to you know, and I got stuff to lose. You know what I mean? I got a husband that got a decent job, you know what I mean? And take care of me and stuff like that. And I've always been able to go and come as I please and be around any type of person. I've had friends who are atheists, who are Muslim, who are Christians, who don't believe in nothing. I didn't had a friend, as a matter of fact, I had a friend that was a devil worshiper. that was that was kind of weird. It was like I couldn't really go around them as much because they was doing too much. I was like, girl, I'm not coming to your house, girl, because you be doing too much now. You do is you and your husband be doing too much. I'm not really comfortable coming to your house now. You can come out here and I'm gonna take my drink with me, but that's what's up. But I'm a Taurus. So with Tauruses, we pretty much accept people for who they are. We don't trip. We don't bang on you. We just let you be who you are and we accept you. Now, I even had a friend. This is gonna be really deep. I even had a friend that really didn't feel comfortable around black people. I was cool with them. And I was just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? We knew where we stood. I'm like, I don't like you, you don't like me. Okay, but we just got along. I don't know why. We got along. We had really good conversations. I just like talking to them. It was really good conversations. Or you could say leaving the sector. No, no, I'm not gonna leave the sector. I just want I just don't want no I just don't want people feeling any kind of way because I like different channels. I want to be able to enjoy going to different channels without people thinking that I have a problem or that I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing or whatever, or that I'm talking behind people or whatever. Because I'm not going to talk behind nobody's back. I'm not going to talk behind your back because if I can say it behind you, that's why I'm doing it publicly. Why not do it publicly? That's why I'm having this conversation. Um, I just want to be able to go to people's platforms and enjoy myself without it being mess, right? So it's just kind of getting to the point where I don't even know where I don't know I don't know who likes who. So it's like if I go over here, yeah, I don't like this person. I'm like, I I just don't want to get into I just don't want to get into it with anybody. I'm a tree hugger, but I'm a tree burner because I know how I am. And I know once I get into it with somebody, I'm a Taurus and just, you know what it is for a Taurus. We peaceful people until you mess with us. Um, but I just want to enjoy and like who I like. It's one thing for and y'all gotta understand it's just kind of can I be honest with y'all, it's a trigger for me. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I gotta talk. Let's just be honest. I'm gonna talk. It's a real big trigger for me. Okay, I met people never until that time I feel to stay away. Here's the thing. Let me tell you, it's a trigger for me. This is what it is. Okay, it is just kind of bringing up. It's bringing up stuff that I haven't healed from just yet. I'm healing, but I have not healed yet. Okay, so y'all know I was in the Black Power movement. Okay, I told y'all that from the get go. I told y'all I was in the Black Power movement, and there's a lot of things I went through that during that time. I lost comrades. I lost people that I love a lot, and I went through a very deep depression. Okay, um and it's just certain things that happen out of that, and it just got really ugly with dealing with different people, and it got to the point where can I just I'm gonna play I can't I'm gonna do this real quick because I don't want to say the thing, and it just got to the point where that stuff started beginning to happen. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So when that stuff got started to happen, and then I found myself having to carry that a lot more, and it's just a trick. I know it's YouTube. This is just YouTube, right? But still, it just was a trigger for me. It was a sure trigger for me where, when they started when the powers that be, we're not going to say names, but we're going to say the powers that be started infiltrating. So my mind is just different from you. I have post traumatic stress, bad. Okay. And from that, I'm still healing from that. But I had, they were putting certain powers that be were putting certain people in and making them think that they were someone else. And they weren't for the people that they were supposed to be for, and they were actually working for those 3-letter words, right? And they was trying to trump up charges and stuff. It was just got wild. Y'all got to understand something. So my mind is just not. it's just a little bit different. So when a lot of stuff begin to start happening, I start kind of backing away because it kind of freaks me out because of what I went through during that time frame. And it was really bad. And it was to the point where, it is more than a notion for it to be a news article. And it's kind of feeling like that again. And I'm just kind of it just kind of and I like mess, yes. We like mess, right? But I don't want it to get to a point where it gets that messy because I'm just sharing this with you all and I'm being honest. And I don't know how else to say it. And I would rather do it on a public platform rather than to say it in the corner, text this person, or text this other person, or say this to this other person, because then people will do a screenshot of it and they'll be like, oh, Dr. A said this and this and that. She's trying to hint at, she's trying to throw shade. No, I'm not throwing shade at anybody. I swear to God. I'm just talking to you all. I'm saying this on my life and I'm being very serious about this. But I'm just telling you, it's just a combination of things. And now I'm not leaving the sector because I like it here. But what I'm saying is, I just want to be able to be free because I am not a slave. I can be loyal by not talking against a person. And of course, yes, I might be in the bushes where this person is doing a lie, but I can't even comment because I don't want anybody to think I'm against this person that people may be talking about or whatever. So it's just more comfortable. So I'm just like, well, Dad, maybe I just need to stay over here. Uh, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. We mess, but we, where the line is drawn, like some get out, hand real quick. Right. But I'm okay with people getting out of hand real quick. Right. I'm okay with people. If a person has something to say to another person, I think they should handle that. I'm not tripping with that, but I'm just telling you, me personally, right? I think people should express how they feel and do what they say. Do you think you're going to throw so much in your life that you're more aware? Um, yeah. I'm going through a lot of stuff in my life. Yes. So I don't care about other people banging on other people because people are going to do that. We're tribal by nature. We're tribal people. Black people by nature, melanated people by nature, we're tribal. And that's just always been like that throughout the beginning of time, right? So I'm okay with that. I expect that. That's not the issue. What I'm saying is I'm on an island over here. I'm just saying I'm on this island. And just because I respect everybody, I do. I literally respect everybody, not because I'm afraid, because I'm not afraid of anybody. I done been through enough to not be afraid of anybody. Let's be clear about that. That's good, doctor. I'm glad you're doing good. I respect everybody. And because I respect everybody, I don't want to be penalized because I respect people. You know what I mean? I don't have to, I'm not, I'm not, nobody owns me. Do you understand what I'm saying? So every sector on YouTube has drama. There's no escaping it, but you have to move how you want and whatever makes you comfortable. Exactly. That's a good point. Um, but what I'm saying is that although I am comfortable, you get ready to make me say what you just said. I have PTSD, right? I know y'all like Dr. A is nuts. Yes. I have PTSD, okay? And I'm just telling you that it's triggering right now. And because it's triggering, I'm like, ah. So it's not a fear because I remember. Okay, so someone go try to shoot me. Okay, so let's talk about it. How you doing, KB? Welcome to the Mickey Flicky Palace. So somebody, and I'm not gonna name any names. How you doing? How you doing, Passion? Welcome to the Mickey Flicky Palace. So y'all know I messes with Flow heavily, and I mess with some pretty much all the reactors. I mess with Flow heavy. So someone shot me a text and was like, I need to choose sides. No, not choosing sides because I don't know. I just know I do listen, of course. I ain't gonna act and play dumb. Let me tell you something. I normally will play dumb, y'all, because Sometimes playing dumb is like the most comfortable thing to do, right? It really is because you can stay out of stuff. You can be like, oh, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? No, I do know. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, right? But what I'm saying is, it's better for me to not go there. And that's why I said it's always great. And I'm like, so why do I have to choose? Why can't I like enjoy Flo and laugh at Flo things that she put out and all the good information that she puts out because they're actual documents. And it's other people that put out different things that they might have a great idea about this, because I steal from everybody. Let's be clear about that. Look, we're not gonna come to this platform and act like Dr. A do not take and steal from everybody. I do. I've actually ran certain people's videos. I run everybody videos on this platform. I've asked permission sometimes. For the most part, I would say 90% of the time I've asked for permission, and 10% I have not, because I did not necessarily know that person to do that, and I did not reach out because I did not feel comfortable. Okay. One thing about a Taurus is to be honest. Yes. And so I enjoy people. I love it over here. It's fun, but I don't want it. I don't ever want it to get, I'm just making a public announcement. Please let me love y'all. Let me love y'all without problems. I don't mind. I don't listen. People not gonna get along. That's a part of life. That's just what it is. We're all tribal people. Black people are tribal. We are tribal like a bug, and that's in our DNA. That's just is. We even tribal in our own family. I see it amongst my children. My children sometimes it'd be my daughter against my sons, or sometimes it'd be my son, my youngest, my middle son with my daughter against my oldest son, and then sometimes it'd be all three of them against the little baby. You know what I mean? It's just is what it is. You're Aquarius. I don't hold back, right? So I don't. So I just let people be who they are, and I let me be who I want to be, y'all. Don't be tripping with me. Listen, I love all of y'all. Don't be tripping with me. Let me be free. Please don't trigger my PTSD, please, because it's not fair. It's not okay. It is not okay because I've not done anything to anybody. Okay, have not talked about anybody's back. I've not done any of that. I've personally talked to a lot of different reactors about how to do my channel and what could I do to improve my channel? What could I do? Or, hey, I need a favor from you. Like I asked Flo. Flo was like, yes, I know what you want. Flo just came over here. Flo read my mind, right? And so that doesn't make me a bad person, because I think Flo just makes me laugh. And a lot of other people I like as well. I like everybody, right? I like everybody, and I'm supposed to. Please, to that person, I didn't answer. I did not answer that person that sent me a text, because I didn't want to. The reason why I didn't answer her was because I felt like she would have taken it in the wrong way. So if I say it publicly as opposed to shining a light, you know what I mean? And it's no disrespect to her, but I wanted to say it publicly so everybody can be aware of what was brought to my attention, and not necessarily having to say the name, right? And so I wanted everybody to know that, let me love on all of y'all in this sector. Let me do that. I'm a Taurus. This is how we are. If you know anything about a Taurus, you know that we don't do all that. Even when my children fight, I do not take sides. Even if my daughter is wrong, and she be wrong sometimes, but I don't tell her she wrong. I be like, look, y'all need to work that out. That's what I tell them. And no, nobody's my child. Nobody. No, 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 no. Not saying that. When I first met my brother, you know what I mean? When I first met my two brothers, my other brother, I don't personally know. We just only talked over the phone. My other brother, he was like, yeah, he's kind of different. He was talking about my other brother. And I was like, hey, don't talk about him. I was like, no, 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 no. I was like, well, we just need to eventually meet each other. And I say, well, let's go down there and meet him. And then he had died beforehand. So again, you come along and you go along. Do you please? You shouldn't feel like you owe strangers anything but kindness and respect, and skip their drama. Okay. That's fine. Thank you. Good. But again, no beef. I love everybody. Unless you trip. No, I'm just playing. I don't care if you trip. I still love you. But listen, y'all. So please, please, to that sister that sent me that text message, please, and I'm not going to tell your name, so you don't have to worry about. I will ask you, and I'm going to ask everybody from this day forward, that if you come to my chat, please do not mention any of the reactors or anybody in a negative way. Please. I'm asking. That's another thing I want to get off. Please do not do that. Please, because I don't want no issues with anybody. And I don't want you to be banging in the chat with anybody, because it's it's not fun. It's just not fun for me. It don't do nothing for me to feel like that. I just want to love on everybody. Let me say it again to all my reactors, my fellow sisters, my I call them my investigator. I sure do. My investigator and other content creators in this sector. Dr. A loves you. How you doing, Kay? Welcome to the KW. Welcome to the McFlick House. I want to love on all of y'all. I don't want no issues. We not get ready to bang out on each other. Not me. Now, y'all can bang out on each other. That's fine. I'm going to sit in the bushes. I'm not going to comment. I'm not. I'm neutral. I'm neutral. I'm just going to laugh. Now, I'm going to laugh to the side, but I'm not going to pop in the chat. Now, I might be in your chat for a minute, but then once you start, going in on that particular person, I'm going to kind of ease out, because I don't want that other person thinking that I have a problem with you, because I don't, or I have a problem with what they're saying, or I agree or I don't agree. It doesn't matter whether I agree or not. I'm nosy just like all the rest of us. I'm not gonna play dumb. I want to play dumb though. Can I play dumb? But I can't play dumb. So I just want to go in the chat, listen, on the mommies. When y'all talk about the mommies, I just want to go in there on those terms. But otherwise, I'm gonna be in the bushes now. But I don't want y'all to think that I have an issue with y'all. That's all I'm saying. This is public. This is not in the dark. I have not done it in the dark, because I'm doing it in the light, because I'm a light worker, y'all. I'm a light worker. That's what I do. That's how I get down. Please don't make no videos about me clowning me, because I'm just saying this publicly, okay? Don't be mean to me, because I have not been mean to nobody, okay? Don't be mean to me, because I didn't do nothing to y'all, okay? Because I love everybody. Yes, I can love everybody. I can be neutral. I sure the hell can. And you can't make me choose a side. Don't make me choose no side. And don't get up here and say I'm afraid of anybody, because I'm not. I got PTSD. And I done been through a lot more than a lot of y'all think I have. So don't try that mess. I done told you I've been in the movement and it got ugly. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to go ugly, because sometimes things can go off the internet and it can get really bad for people. And I don't want to see that. I don't, because it's so much stuff. The social media is beautiful in a sense, because we do get to connect to different people all around the world. But at some points, it can get pretty ugly, and we don't want that. I don't want to see anybody hurt. I don't, because it would break my heart. I don't know y'all personally, right? But I know the energy that you put out onto the YouTube streets, and I would hate to see anybody get hurt, because I would feel really bad and really sad. And I don't want that happen to anybody. And I want people, I'm not gonna tell people to get along, because people ain't gonna get along. It's tribal. It's normal. That's a part of life. We not all gonna get along. But to anybody, and I'm gonna say this publicly too, if I've hurt anybody's feelings, and this is sincere, if I hurt anybody's feelings, I apologize. I did not mean to hurt your feelings. Well, except for if you come over now. For the ones that come over here with the mess, now I probably will get indignant with you. I probably say your mom or something like that, right? That's kind of normal. just, just being funny, just being funny. But other than that, I don't even. I don't know. I don't dislike Liv. I dislike the persona. I like the energy she puts out. But behind closed doors, on the inside, we all can be different. Everybody can be change if they want to change, but these mommies just don't want to change. So I would like to balance this content. So with that said, I would like to balance this content. Can we balance this content? I want us to balance this content, and hopefully y'all will still support me. If not, I don't know what to tell you. I just would like to balance this content. So anyway, I had an idea today. I got some texts. I have received some messages along the way that I have not answered. So I want to take the time to answer any questions that you all have. I would be happy to do that. And I also have some questions here. This will be a question session that we can do right now. I think that would be fun. Um, I have some other questions that I have been asked throughout my YouTube time that I have not taken the time to ask. Okay, I have my handy dandy paper, and I have my handy dandy phone. See? Okay, so dang it, I done clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry. Okay, here are a couple of questions. Okay, so if y'all have any questions, now is the time to ask. Some things, if it's too personal, I'm not gonna ask. I'm just letting you know that now, because some things I guard with my life. Okay, so the first question, but you can still ask, and I'll let you know whether or not I'm gonna ask it. But or I might answer your question, but it might be kind of um, different. I personally don't believe everybody wants to be on top of social media as a barrel of crabs. Um, okay, so here's one of the questions, and this is my chair. See, I keep moving around, and this chair is really it's about 3 years old. So when you sit in it, is squeeze. No matter, I mean, I do got a big booty though, so I ain't gonna lie. But even if my son sit in the chair, it'll squeak. I do got a big booty. I probably do need to shed a couple of pounds, but I told y'all that. Anyway, I'm not fat, but I am thick. Okay, because I know there was somebody asked me, somebody texted me. They were so rude. They's like, do you have a big butt or you just fat? Because every time you get to going live and when you sitting down, I can hear the chair squeaking. No, I'm not fat. I'm not fat. Oh, I wear a plus. I wear my exact size. It's not too tight. It fits me just right. Okay. I'm in a size 14. If I put a 16 on, a size 16 plus, it will swallow me. But a 14 is just right. A size 12, I can't get past my thighs. I'm just gonna be honest. Now, I do have a big butt and I do have big hips. I've always had a big butt my whole life. I can't help it. And I just recently got boobies, and I'm really happy because I've been flat chested pretty much my whole life until just now. So never let you get to you. They not. They're not. They love me. They love me, and I love them. Um, broke right now, taxes. Okay, they love me, and I love them back. Okay, they love me, and I love them back, and I don't have to choose. My sisters in this sector love me enough not to force me to choose. They know that because they know that I'm neutral. They know that, and I love them both, all of them, and they know that I'm not gonna be talking crazy or talking bad behind their backs or anything like that. I'm not gonna do that. They know that. So I'm just talking. I'm just expressing myself. Okay. You wish you had a butt shoot. You can have some of mine. If I gave you half of my butt, I would still have butt. Um. So the first question I got asked, what made us want to adopt? They said me, but it wasn't me by myself. But okay, let me answer the question. So the reason why I wanted to adopt was because I'm adopted. Because I was adopted. I was adopted when I was 6 months years old. My mother gave me up when I was a newborn. an infant, newborn, or whatever, a newborn. I'm sorry. And as soon as she pushed me out, they didn't allow in the 70s. They didn't allow them to look at the children. They kept the babies privately, and you couldn't see the mother wasn't allowed. See, nowadays they'll let you spend time with the child, and then the mother and father, or whomever, or the mother and mother, or the father and father, whatever, or the single mother or the single father will come and get the baby, and take the baby off, and the mother get a certain amount of time, I think like 24 hours. And she has, I think she has like 60 days or 30 days to decide on whether or not she want to get the baby back or whatever. But back in those days, you could not see the child. They wouldn't allow you to see the child. My adoption was semi-closed. And that's okay. Some of y'all leave out of here. That's fine. Because y'all wanted me to just talk about mess, but that's okay. I'm not going to just talk about mess. I'm sorry. You asking me questions, I will answer questions, but I had to drop that. I notice adoption kids always adopt adoption kids too. Yes. And so, from there, my parents told me I was adopted. My parents told me I was adopted when I was in preschool because I was like, why don't I look like y'all? And they basically told me, and I didn't know what it was, and they had to explain to me. And so I was raised with the identity of knowing that I was adopted. So I said, cool. And see, that's another thing. Can't nobody use that against me because, like, it is what it is. Like, my mama chose me. Let me just tell you this before for some of these mommy stalking people send a little crowd over here to try to intimidate me and think that that's going to hurt my little feelings. Your grandma was adopted too. Before y'all even try to, that's not going to hurt my feelings because I'm pretty much over that. I mean, my mother's cute. My stepfather was fine back in the day before he got, you know, before life began to be hard for him. So I don't really care about that. And I have a relationship with her now. You know what I mean? She's been searching for me, but that's a whole nother conversation. So anyway, so we decided to adopt. I always wanted to adopt. When I first got with my husband, I had already talked to him about adoption, and he said that would be something he would be interested in. So we just decided to adopt. And someone asked me, that same person asked, they got a lot of questions. Okay. They asked me, how long did it take? How long did it take? How, Caroline, I always wanted to adopt, but I'm scared. I think I've watched too many movies. Okay. Oh my God, Carolina, welcome to the Mickey Flicky Palace. Well, here's the thing about adoption. Why? It's okay. What you do is go to your state. I don't know what state you're from, but go to your state and just basically sign up. You don't have to be you don't have to be married. You don't have to, you know what I mean? You could be single, you could adopt a child, you could be same sex couple, you can be single. I mean, it's so many children in the system. You might luck up. I'm telling you, it's the best thing. It was one of my best investments that I ever did. It was beautiful. I have a story to tell. Once, when we were adopting, we were trying to go through and find a child, and the one of the first children that we went for, we had an interview because they go through an interview process. Well, before I answer that, um this one lady, oh, excuse me, what was I saying? Oh, the adoption thing. So the other person asked me okay, so I told her answered about what made me decide I didn't drink a lot of coffee, y'all. I'm sorry. I drank 2 cups of coffee today. I don't know, I felt like drinking coffee. It made me happy. Leave me alone. So the person asked me, they said, well, what made me decide to adopt? I basically told you that. They asked me how long did it take me to finally get adoption. It depends. It took us, like, I think we started this process in 2019, and we finally found a kid that was for us because some of the other ones, woo, they was like, one of them was talking about peeing in the closet, like in a bottle. I was like, no. It was another situation where it was another one where he was threatening to hack into our computer. We was like, and steal our money out of our bank account. And I was like, that little joker looked like he could do it too. He's like, no. And then surprisingly, But Caroline, just contact your state and find out all what their requirements are. If you have a question about the requirements, I can certainly tell you. If you can tell me what state you're in, if you feel comfortable, I'll tell you that. Russia kids and adoption kids seem to have some type of issue that which they never told. Said no one happy because it wasn't told during adoption. Well, see, adopting in general. Let me tell you something. They don't tell you everything, and some things that they. Let's talk about that. I'm going to answer your question in passion in a minute. What happened was when you're adopting, they're not going to know everything. Sometimes the child might even have a medical record. Y'all might have to take the child to the doctor and do because you got to think about it. In some cases, they probably was removed because they wasn't going to the doctor. Okay, you're in Florida. Okay, I'll tell you in a minute. In some cases, you don't even know if sometimes they don't even tell you anything because the parents that they or wherever they came from didn't even have the record. You understand what I'm saying? They might not even have the record to where the child was from. You know what I mean? They might not have nothing. And then think about the children that I forgot what they call them, safe haven children. Basically, the safe haven children are the ones that they just drop off at the in a little box at the fire station or maybe even the police station. They'll drop them off, and they don't have any medical records. They don't have nothing. The mother just had them and left the hospital or whatever for whatever reason, or maybe she had them for a couple of days and just brought them in and just dropped them off, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to have any information. You're not going to know where the biological parents came from. You're not going to know anything. So that happens. So just think about it. And then sometimes people don't keep good records. Sometimes foster parents don't care and they don't keep good records, and they probably will snatch out of their foster home. So in some cases, so don't be afraid, but just understand that it's not going to be flowers and roses. So if it's something you want to do, we'll talk about that. Have you ever seen a virtual story about Zoe being adopted by a guy? No, I have never seen that. Yes, I'm in Florida. I'm going to look into it. Yes, look into it because I'm telling you, you will be surprised. And I'm on an app right now that Florida do have a lot of children that are in need of a home. And I promise you that if you go there, you'll find. But you got to be open. If you go through state, it's free. Okay, so if you go through state now, you got to pay a little something. Like you have to pay. State will pay for your lawyer. They will pay most of the adoptions are for a lawyer $1,200. Now you probably have to pay like $200 for the filing fee. In some cases, you may not. Sometimes you may not even have to pay for a lawyer if you know how to. If you get all the paperwork and basically file the paperwork yourself, you might not even need the lawyer. But you still get that money. The state will still give you that money. The child is entitled to, in some cases, it depends on what your lawyer works out for you. And it depends on how much you make, but some children are entitled to the Medicaid, and college is paid for free. They go to school for free. It's a TikTok this week. People are upset. It's on TikTok. People, okay. I definitely. Oh, I know what you're talking about. The one where the man was talking about he don't know how to comb his he don't know how to comb his daughter's hair. And see, that's another thing. I don't use that language. Okay, yes, I know I'm adopted. My father does not say, "Hey, look at this adopted child." Hey, adopted daughter. Like we don't talk like that. Like that's my child. Who the heck says that's my adopted daughter? That's ignorant to me. I hate when people talk like that. That says a lot about people when they get to talking about this is my adopted child and this and this and that. That's not okay. All right. The next question I'm asked, can I still have children? Yes, I can. Okay, that really was none of your business, but since you but since you asked, I will go ahead and answer it. Yes, I can still have children. That's definitely possible. And I know some of y'all left out of here because I ain't talking mess, but I'm not getting ready to talk about nobody like that negative. Okay, I don't feel like that. I don't want to anyway. For what? Nobody did nothing to me. Um. So, let's see. She asked, can I still have children? Yes, but I mean, I'm 50 years old. Think about it. Do I really want to put, if God finds it on my heart to push out a child, I'm not gonna help it. I mean, I'm not gonna stop it, right? But I'm not gonna increase the point of trying to have more children at my age. I mean, I could, but I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I wouldn't cry about it. I'm not gonna be totally upset about it because that's just not the way. Okay. So let's go next. I am asked, what are my thoughts on drama on YouTube? I've already addressed that. I don't have any. I don't have a drama or beef with anybody here on the YouTube streets because it's not that serious. I don't. Um, do I think I'm better than Liv? Yes, I do think I'm better than Liv. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do. Um, what are my thoughts about what are my thoughts about children rearing? I mean, it depends on what capacity you're talking about. I don't know what capacity you're talking about. If y'all have any questions, y'all can post them in here. Um, what are my thoughts on rearing children? I mean, the same way that everybody else rears children. What are my thoughts on how to raise adopted children? I mean, the same way you would regular children. I mean, what do you mean? But however, now with adoptive children, with us, we do come with a little bit more drama. Like, right, we have probably gone through something now. With me, my parents got me at 6 months, so I didn't come with, the drama of that. I think I didn't come with when I was in the foster home that I was in for that 6 month period or however long, and when they adopted me, I didn't really come with drama. It's just I came with. I think that after a certain time, I think I went through a lot of different identities. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't to you all because y'all wouldn't understand that. But I went through a lot of phases in my life, probably more than a normal person would, right? So, for example, you know how when you a teenager, you're green. You may think you're green as a teenager. You think you're orange. Well, just imagine your whole entire life. Today I'm green. Tomorrow I feel like I'm orange. And then when I got to be, that's why I could talk about these mommies too, y'all. When I was 16, I went through a phase. I was a young mother. So I went through the phase of motherhood, and then I went through the phase of being married at a pretty young age. And then I went through all of that where I played all those games and being married, playing house. The first marriage, I was playing house. I'm just going to be honest with you. That wasn't a good marriage. It wasn't a good marriage for him, and it wasn't a good marriage for me. He wasn't right, and I wasn't right. You know what I mean? So that didn't work out, but we cool now. Of course, he's moved on. I've moved on. Uh, so anyway, I just went through a lot of different phases. I went through a lot of different religions, a lot of spiritualities, which is fine, which has led me today, which is why I'm metaphysical, because I understand it all, because I studied it all. I went from it. I was brought up as a Christian who didn't really go to church like that, but I went into when I was 17, I went into the Nation of Islam. I started looking into the Nation of Islam, and then I became a registered member in the Nation of Islam when I was 19 years old. And I stayed in the nation for quite a while, and then I went from the Nation of Islam to just joining the movement, the other movement, and that messed up my head. Just to be honest with you, that pretty much messed up my head, and that's probably why I'm kind of like the way I am. And it takes me time to it's still taking me time to heal from that, because of a lot of the stuff that I went through during that time frame, um and just a lot of things that I saw. um just I it just started because again I came into the movement as a flower child. You know what I mean? I came into the movement like hippie-ish almost, right? Y'all know what a hippie is. I came into like everybody peace and love, everybody need to love everybody and stuff. And then you get into the I don't have any questions, that's okay. And then when you get into the movement and you start dealing with just a lot of stuff that you're like, wow. And then, you start, looking at a lot of depression because it's a lot of depression because a lot of times it's like a lot of when you're trying to help people and just think about when a woman lost her son through police brutality and what have you, and you get to trying to work with that mom and, seeing all that, unaliving type of stuff or when you meet a lot of people because they join because of stuff that happened to them in their life and you hear a lot of stories and it's just really sad and you just get to the point where you start crying with the people. You know what I mean? um and just in dealing with that and the next question I'm asked, what made me decide to be a life coach? That is a great question. That's like the best question. Well, the reason why I decided to be a life coach was because I was hurting. Does that make sense? I was going through a really bad depression. I had realized that I had been depressed my whole entire life. And I decided to become a life coach because it was kind of a situation. I mean, I came from a good family. The family that raised me were really good to me. It's not like they were mean or they did anything wrong to me. But I think the whole point of not knowing where I came from was very depressing for me. And I tried to suppress it. I tried really hard to suppress it and not to deal with that reality. I mean, and then feeling abandoned, my parents did a really good job about uplifting me and saying that, I was loved. And then they had a personal letter or something that my mother basically wrote, a little paragraph that she wrote, as far as her love for me or whatever. So that kind of helped me. And then, they told me my adoption story. And my adoption story is this. One day I'm gonna have my mother come over, my biological mother, because it's a separate thing. I don't call her, I just don't say mother. I say biological mother. I literally call her, I say bio mom. That's what I call her. Because I do have a mom that did raise me. So it's kind of hard to call her my mom, right? Because my mom is my mom. And she calls my mom my mom, okay? How you doing, Desi? Welcome to the Mickey Flicky Palace. So my biological mom, let's see what happened. Oh yeah, so my biological mom got pregnant at 14. The papers didn't say that. The papers lied and said she was older than what she was, but that's a whole nother conversation. So anywho, at the time of my birth, my parents came to this foster home, and this foster home was an older couple, and it was several other babies in there, and it was some dark skinned children, which is why I'm not a colorist, which is another reason why I can't stand colorists because I wouldn't have gotten adopted if my parents were colorists. But anywho, so they basically saw these other children and they looked at me and they said I was too light because my parents are dark skinned, and they said I was too light, and so my parents went home. And, and my mother said she woke up in the middle of the night and she said, she called my daddy by his name, which I'm not going to call him by his name, and said, let's go back and get that baby. And she said, what? The one with the pretty eyes, the one with the big eyes? I guess I got big eyes. My biological mom got really big eyes, like Donna Ross. So I kind of got like her eyes. And so they went back to the adoption agency and got me, and I was theirs ever since. So that's my birth story. So anyway, I find comfort in hearing that I did when my mother was alive. So that was really comforting, to hear that. So I had a lot of those issues and dealing with the fact that I was adopted and just kind of dealing with that and just and dealing with not really knowing who I was. Does that make sense? Would you ever write a book about your life experience? I do have a couple books that are already written but I'm not comfortable yet. And I know you're saying, "Dang, you talking about it now," but it's different. It's a lot. It's way deeper than what I'm telling y'all. What I'm telling y'all, this is light. Like everybody knows this. This is not what I'm sharing with you all now. This is a wonderful story. Thank you. What I'm sharing with you all now is not a secret. This is like well known. This is documented. This is documented. Yeah, you got loved. Yes, ma'am, I did. Thank you. Um, so so it's just for me, I was kind of depressed about that. And then just the going through the whole identity thing, like, okay, it made me not trust people, right? Because how do I know you're not gonna leave? How do I know you're not gonna leave? How you know gonna say? And so after a while, I met my husband. Of course, he really loved on me, and I was just like, it's kind of weird. I'm like freaking out. And so I just realized I really needed counseling. And so I started seeing this counselor. It was not a psychiatrist, it was a counselor. And I started building with this counselor, and she was really good. And she was like, have you ever thought about taking a test? Can you take this test for me? And I was like, sure. So I took this test, and it was just something. It was like a IQ type of test of asking me, certain, but at the same time, it was like one of those things. What do I think I need to work on, right? And so I looked at the bottom of this sheet, and and then around the same time, I met one of my homegirls at the time. She was my homegirl at the time. She was basically like, "Hey, have you ever, she we were looking up these courses because I wanted to take up life coaching." And then of course I talked to the counselor about it, and she said, "Yeah, that would be excellent for you." And then I just kept I booked like two more sessions with her. My husband paid for it. I booked two more sessions with her, and once I started taking a course, I didn't need her anymore. I didn't need the counselor anymore, because the course was very extensive, and it just kind of really forced you to really deal with yourself and work on yourself. And around that same time frame, my husband was like, "You know what? You really should." And then he kept paying for my courses, kept paying for this course, because it was like through what was it called? It was through University of Sardinia and University of Metaphysics. That's what it was called. So I went through that, and I kept taking the course, kept taking the course. And as I was working through all these issues that I had, and all this abandonment, all this not the identity thing, and trying to figure out where I was at. And that's why I had like multiple jobs, y'all. Y'all know when y'all talk to me, I said, "Yeah, I done worked here. I done worked at Jiffy Lube, y'all." I done worked at a casino, security guard at a casino. I worked at a game store. I had so many jobs, and I've had so many degrees, and I was just like, I have like a gazillion associate's degrees, y'all. It's ridiculous, right? So, you know, I was just trying to find myself. I was trying to find something that would make sense to my life, would make sense for me, that would help me to be a better person, right? And so, once I started, like I said, this course, and the course really had me to like really dig deep down in myself. And I was like, man, I didn't really realize that I had like issues about being adopted. I really didn't. I really didn't know that that was like a trigger for me. I didn't know that it was. And I'm telling you, and I really, 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 really worked on it. And this was like years ago, y'all. This was like about 15 years ago or something. Um, and then and then I said, well, I kind of gave up on looking for my biological mother, because my adoption was semi-closed. Now, you asked the question, what the heck is semi-closed? I don't know. I don't know what semi-closed is, right, y'all? Because it's either closed or not. Now, semi-open, that makes sense, right? Semi-closed is not. So I got the 4-1 on that. So anywho, what I wound up doing was I wound up, walking through the course, and I had clients. My first client was one of my good friends, one of my good Judies, and she was working through her issues or whatever. And then I was helping her. And as I helped her, I was still healing, but she knew the process. And then I started getting more clients, and I started advertising, and I started dealing with a lot of different people. Yep. Not all marriages work until you know yourself. I feel anyone in 20 years not ready, but in my 20 years, we worked through it. This new generation has no idea, child. They don't. And I'm telling you. And so, years later, so one day my husband was like, "Hey, have you this leads me to the next question. I'm going to answer this next question that I have." So this other person says here, it's another person, I'm sorry, here. Right here it says, "What made me decide to find my biological mom?" Good question. So, my husband came home one day. He said, "Hey, he said, I found an article." I was like, "What?" So my husband's really smart, y'all. He's really smart. He's a genius. Like, seriously, I'm not kidding. Um, Not that I'm a genius too. I'm smart too, but he's a different type of smart, and I'm a different type of smart, right? Um, so he said, "Well, I found this article that talked about Missouri. I'm from Missouri. Talked about children who are adopted, they can actually find their biological parents. It just takes them a little minute." I was like, "Oh, really?" And so I looked up the number, of course. I sent the paperwork in, called the lady, sent the paperwork in. And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so it took them, I think I sent it in October. They sent it to me on December the 24th. They sent me I asked for my paperwork. I mean, for my original birth certificate. And what happened was, you all, first of all, if you were born before, I think, the 80s, you could not get your information. You had to petition the court, and you have to ask permission from your adoptive parents to, if you could go and research to find your biological parents. So it was another route. The foster home work, which I came from, did burn down, but they went somewhere else. And it was this, and they would have had to research, and there was this nun I could put me in this, this service with these nuns. And so the nun was basically like, "Hey, I will be willing to find your family, but it's going to cost you $500 an hour, or $500 an hour." It was something crazy. No, excuse me. It was 500 upfront, and then any additional time that she had to pay for it, it was going to be like $50 an hour or something crazy. And not only that, keep in mind, she said, "Well, if I find your information, which I know I can, you're going to, and if I can't give it to you if your biological mother doesn't want you to contact her. So why would I pay for that if I'm not going to be able to talk to her?" Right. So here I am looking. I knew what school that my high school that my biological mother went to. Okay, y'all. I met women that would have been in her same her age range. And so I looked at all of the yearbooks, and I found this one lady that kind of looked like me. I was like, "No, that look." I was like, "No, she ugly. That ain't my mama." Right. So what ended up happening is, I should show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all a picture of my biological mom, so y'all could kind of. I'm gonna show you her high school picture, and I'm gonna show you my high school picture. So, anywho, so the place, the registrar of the vital records, basically were doing the work. And originally, when it had taken place, it does take up to 6 months to do. Okay, y'all. So, but that wasn't that was like a long time ago when it first started. But now, since it's older, since everybody pretty much kind of out the way, that's when everybody was first on it. So mine took, like I said, a few months. So I looked it up. I did it in October. And what I did was, they sent it back to me, because originally they sent it back to me in like late October, and they were like, "Hey, you have to go." My stupid self, I forgot. I didn't. I was so excited, I forgot to go and get it notarized. I didn't get it notarized. Of course, you need to get notarized. My crazy self, you know how it is sometimes. Just be kind of slipping. So I notarized it, sent it back within October. And then they knew me by name. Y'all hear me? Because I kept calling. I kept calling and calling and calling. So the people knew me by name. So it didn't really, you know what I mean? So by the time I called, I was like, hey, did y'all find the information yet? Did y'all find the information? It's like, yeah, we just mailed it off. It's like, you should be getting it soon. Don't worry about it. Don't be keep calling me. And then finally, the older lady kept telling me, she said, look, girl, don't be keep calling me. You're going to get your stuff. Don't worry. It's going to be okay. You waited this long. You're in your late 40s. So you might as well just chill out right now, right? So it came December the 24th, a day before Christmas. So I got the information, and it had on the birth certificate, the way her name is, it has an IE at the end. So when you see an IE at the end, you think, because not many people have, like, let's say her name was give me a name with an IE on the end. Nikki. Let's say her name was Nikki. It's not Nikki though. But let's say her name was Nikki. And on the end it was IE on the end. And I was just like, wow, this woman didn't even have sense enough to tell her real name. So, I started going through all these insecurities all over again. And so anyway, I looked up her information. Of course, y'all know, I can find some stuff. Like if y'all need family, I can find family. I'm good at that now. I'm good at finding family and researching family tree and knowing all of your whatever. So anyway, I wound up looking it up, and I found my her name. Went to the yearbook. I found the yearbook picture and everything. And I looked and I was like, who is this lady? I said, God, and there was her name, was her exact name that was on the birth certificate. And I was like, and I remember certain things because when you're adopted, they give you, back then, not necessarily now, depending on where you go through. I went through a private agency. My parents went through a private agency. I went through state, right? So they give you what they call non-identifying information, and the non-identifying information won't give you the names, but it'll tell you if the child has, if the parents have some kind of disease. My friend paid $5,000 to find her family. Girl, I did not pay no $5,000. I promise you. It was $15. I sent off my just like you would normally sit off for your birth certificate, like we would normally sit off for our birth certificate. It was $15. Okay. And they found it. It depends on what their state is, what if the state, So I looked up the information, and so I found her name. And then I remember, like I said, when I was 16, my parents gave me the non-identifying information. So I remember she had a twin, that one of her or her sister had a twin, a fraternal twin. It was a guy. And I went and I remember it was a whole bunch of them in one house. And so I just kept trying to look, and then it was something like my biological father's grandfather owned a gas station, which was not true. This is a great and very refreshing. Thank you so much, KB. And so I looked up the information. So y'all, the social worker had to contact the people. That is crazy. That's what I'm saying. That's how much that lady tried to charge. She didn't charge me 5,000, but it was 500. That number was getting ready to get over. And then supposed the biological parent, or suppose she lied, because they lied. So anyway, so I looked at the information, and here I go, and I look on the yearbook picture, and I was like, God, this lady, I don't look nothing like her. So I showed my children, and I sent the text. I was like, hey, I think this is my biological mom. They's like, oh my gosh, she looks just like you. I'm gonna show you a picture. And I was just like, this woman looks nothing like me. He's like, are you kidding me? So my stepdaughter looked at, she's like, yeah, she looks just like you. And so I called, I found, and then come to find out she has a twin. She had a fraternal twin. So I got to looking him up, and I was like, oh my God, this is him right here. So I'm like, this is her name. And so, because his name with an IE too. And so I looked at the picture, and I was like, oh my God, he looks like my son a little bit. And so I started looking up that information. And then so I kept calling every number on the list, and I didn't get an answer. Like my biological mom moved around a lot. She didn't live in California. She lived, on the West Coast. She lived a lot on, St. Louis. And I kind of looked around, and I kept calling. And finally I called one of the places that she was in, and I didn't get an answer, and I was just like, oh, and it wasn't even a voicemail. So I was like, oh my God. So I wind up a cousin of mine's from my family that I was raised in. And when I say raised in, that means adopted, but I don't use that terminology. Okay. So I called, I posted online because I shared my journey, and I said, "Hey, does anyone know blah 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 blah?" And then my cousin was like, "Hey, I'm willing to help you." So she went to my biological uncle's house, and of course he wrote books, y'all. He wrote books on conspiracy theorists, okay, which is why I'm probably paranoid myself, right? I'm paranoid like a mug, right? So of course, he see her, he didn't even open the door. He's like, I don't know who this is. And so so he got the calling around and said, "Hey, a lady came to my house talking about she looking for you such and such, his sister, which is my biological mom." And she was like, "I don't know who that lady could be." And she said she know your daughter. She said, "What?" And so nothing heard of, right? And so then she went to this other place. My cousin went to this other place, and it was this guy, right? And then he was like, "Come on in," right? And then he had a woman with him, and he was like, "Well, yeah, she been looking for you for a long, she been looking for your cousin for a long time. We was trying to find you where she was." He said, "Oh, I'm her friend, but I used to be her man back in the day, and we all friends, we cool or whatever. But she mad at me, she not talking to me for whatever reason. But I do have her information. I have her grandmother number." So she called her, and she was like, "Who is this? I don't know you." Click. And then so he called my grandmother. He called my biological grandmother, and she was like, "Who is this?" And so my cousin was like, "Yeah, hey, don't hang up. Don't hang up. This is you got a daughter named blah blah blah." And then she said, "Well, I know your granddaughter name is Amira, and she's been looking for you all for a very long time. My auntie basically raised her. She adopted her. She was born May the 3rd, blah 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 year. And she my grandmother got silent, and so she was like, "Okay, well, I'll contact her." And then they didn't contact her right away because it was kind of weird, because my grandma, they didn't want to, hurt my grandma. They didn't want to hurt my biological mother because they didn't know if it was a scam or whatever. So what happened was, y'all want me, I should call my biological mom and let her tell y'all her side of it. That'd be cool, right? So she was like, okay. And so she said, "Well, I'll call you back. I'll give me her number and I'll call her." Right. So I had been calling my uncle for like that for hours. I kept calling his phone and leaving more messages on his answer stuff. I said, "I know y'all think I'm crazy. I'm not." I was like, "I was born such and such and such a day. This is me." I said, "I'm your niece." I said, "God, surprise." I know I sounded crazy, but I didn't know what else. That's how I use comedy when it's like really awkward. So I was like, "Yeah, surprise. Tell your sister she left something at the hospital," right? So he probably looking at that voicemail. He told me when I met him, he said, "Girl, I was looking at that voicemail like, who the hell is this crazy person?" So he wound up contacting her, and then he gave her my number, but she still didn't call me. So she wound up calling her in. Is this? She called her mother, and she's like, "What's going on?" Well, and then she's like, "Next time if somebody call you and tell you they want to tell you something, you make sure you get a hold of me, mother. Okay?" That's how she talks. And so she got a hold of me, and no, so then my grandmother called me that same night, and she was like, "Hey," and she, I guess, trying to check me out first, right? And so she's like, "Hey," and she's like, "Are you my grandbaby?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." I said, "What's up, granny?" Right? It was like that. And she's like, "Oh," then she started crying, and I was like, "Oh," it was really awkward. I was like, "Oh, okay, hi." I said, "Okay, don't cry." I said, "Good, please stop crying." And she's like, "We've been looking for you." I said, "Please stop crying." She's like, "I'm sorry. It's just a long story. I'm gonna let your mama tell you, but it ain't like what you think. We didn't give you up because we didn't love you. We just couldn't afford you." And I was just like, "Okay, woman, y'all can leave out of here, but y'all ain't trying to leave out because I'm telling y'all my story. Y'all silly, y'all suck." I'm just like, anyway. So she basically was telling me how I'm a little nervous telling this story, so if I'm using basically a lot, that's why. So plus I'm looking for this picture so y'all can see the high school picture. And so she's like, well, I'm gonna have a car. I said, well, what's she like? She said she loud. She always sing and dance, and she light up the room when she come and when she enter, the typical stuff a mother say about their child, right? So the next day she called me. She's like, hello. She's like, may I speak to Amira? I was like, this is she. And I knew it was her, and I was just trying to hold my breath. I was so nervous, and I was like, you know what I'm saying? She's like, would you be willing to submit to a DNA? I was like, sure. I said, before we do the DNA and everything, I said, I do have DNA already on, but I'll be willing to Ancestry, and also have it on 23andMe. She's like, okay. And I said, well, you can do that, and we can do from there, or whatever way you want to do it. It doesn't matter. And so she says, well, I said, well, do you have a phone that texts? She says, yeah. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, can I send you a text? And I can also send you a record of my birth certificate, the original birth certificate, and I can send you my new birth. I said, no, I didn't say new one. I said, but I send you the my birth certificate from when you allegedly had me. Okay. She said, sure. So I went ahead and sent it. She's like, well, I'm gonna call you back anyway because I can't, I gotta go work out. I said, okay. So I hung up from her. She called me back in about an hour later. She called me back about an hour later, and she was like, "Oh," she called me back crying. She's like, "You are her," because she gave me this so weird name. It's like a really weird name. I would never tell y'all that name, and I would never let nobody would ever be allowed to call me that name ever in their life. So. So anyway, so she named me this little unique name. I ain't gonna say it weird because she really, you know, she named me that. I'm not gonna call it a weird name. I take that back. So anyway, so my so everybody called me and they arranged this little meeting and we met. She's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let you meet a couple of people, right? And then she told me who my biological father was, and come to find out, my biological father owned a ice cream parlor, okay, at a very young age. And that's how she met him because her sister used to work there. Her and her brother used to work at the ice cream parlor. Um, and so I'm gonna send you a picture. I'm gonna put my both of my biological parents on here. I'm gonna send you old pictures, not doing updated pictures, but I'm gonna send you show y'all the old pictures. And so, so she's like, well, when we meet up, anyway, so I had been in an ice cream parlor for, I used to always go. It was like St. Louis, basically ice cream parlor. That if I said this and you from St. Louis, you'd be like, oh yeah, I know where they said this is a popular ice cream parlor. And I used to go in there, and believe it or not, y'all hate ice cream. Okay, it's just it was funny how I never liked ice cream, and I was like forced to eat it, but I hated it. Um, I'm trying to look for this picture. I'm trying to look for a picture where you can see her face more so. Okay, here we go. And so, anyway, so she told me who he was and everything, and and I kept trying to look for him, but I couldn't find him. And I did kept finding something that might have been him, but I was like, no, I don't believe he's passed away. So I had another content creator in another sector was like, this is him. Yes, you're right, he did. And finally I did contact all of his family. I looked on the obituary, then I looked on, that's how you can find people. And then I looked on the I Googled it and I just started calling up the numbers, and I called and I wound up getting a hold of my uh who did I get a hold of first? My my biological aunt's husband, but she had passed away, and that was the one that named me. She gave me my middle name, and actually my middle name came from her family, and I found the person that they named me after is crazy on the family tree, but that's a whole nother conversation. So I wind up calling him, and I talked to him, and he gave me my brother's numbers. He gave me my cousin's numbers, his stepchildren. He gave me all those numbers. So I just text them all at the same time with my original birth certificate and a picture of myself. And they was really quiet. And so my girl cousin called me back, and she was like, well, I know you heard, because I knew you were my mom was talking about you was adopted, and your biological father told me that you were, that you he had given you up or whatever. And I was like, okay. And she said, your name, my mother was going to name me after you, was going to give me your name. And she's like, yeah, it's a family name. It's a great grandmother. It's sad to have to find family, so many members that could have been there for you. I know, right? But my parents were kind of overprotective in that regard. So they probably, my mother, that was a very sensitive subject for her. You know what I mean? And now that I'm an adopted parent, well, now that I have a child that, was, came from, another place, originally, but I could see why it is sensitive. It's very much a sensitive situation. So I could certainly understand why they felt a certain way. My family was cool, but they didn't know them, so it wouldn't have made no sense for them to have tried to do all that. But eventually, all children want to know where they come from, and that's okay. But but I hold on, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all pictures. Hold on. So anyway, so I talked to all of them, and they were like, yeah. And so talked to my brother that, we hood, what they call it, ghetto twins or something, because we were born the same year. My biological father's papa was Rolling Stone. He was like the stuff back in the day. Okay. Um, and so the women, of course, was, owned it, right? So he had I talked to him, and then I met him like that, like months after that, after I contacted him. And I still haven't met my other brother, y'all, yet. So I don't know if I'm going to ever meet him, to be honest. He's not done anything to me. I haven't done anything to him. I don't know. It's kind of still awkward. And sometimes when things are really awkward, you don't want to push yourself. I'm just not in the business of pushing myself on somebody. If you don't like me, you don't like me. Or if it's still awkward, it's not my fault that our biological father wasn't really like that for any of us. Right? Especially not me. At least y'all knew him. At least he talked about y'all. Yeah, they didn't even. Oh, by the way, y'all, what I left out is he didn't tell them about me, right? But he told everybody else. He told my cousin, and his sister and them knew. His mama knew, but not everybody. So my biological grandfather didn't know, and he's passed away. And once I contacted his sisters, they already automatically knew it was me, right? So that's what happened. So that's my story. Okay, I'm going to share this with you all, and I really don't care what y'all think. So I'm sharing my story. Okay, don't say I didn't. Okay, here we go. I think is it this? No, it's not that. Wait a minute, hold on. So my husband's like, stop sharing things with people. These people are crazy on YouTube. But I'm like, it's already on my Facebook though. If it wasn't on my Facebook, then I probably wouldn't share it. But it's already on my Facebook, so it's not like I'm sharing anything that's shoot. Where is it at? See, if I was on the computer downstairs, I think I could do it. Let's see. So anyway, when my biological mom had like this thing on the 4th of January, and she was like, well, why don't you come down, and you can meet the family. I'm only going to have the intermediate family. I'm not going to have a lot of people here. It's just going to be like it's just going to be a couple people. I'm like, okay, just going to be my mother, and it's gonna be, this, my sister and my brother, my two brothers and two of my sister and my two sisters. I mean, it's, and I was like, cool. So I get there. Of course, it was not just them. So I get there. It's like a lot of people. It's like her cousin, like three of her cousins, like no, about four of her cousins, my grandmother's friend, and a whole bunch of other people. I'm like, who? I was like, where's all these people here for? They was asking me, so they was telling all of my things, they was answering all of my questions, they had pictures and they was giving me pictures and giving me birthday gifts, and you know so every year my aunt and my cousin, they give me, that's okay. So let me tell you why I like Michael Kors so much. I know a lot of people ask me like, why you like Michael Kors so much? Well, that was the first gift that they gave me. Michael Kors and Coach were the first purses that my biological family gave me. The first gifts they ever gave me. And my grandmother, of course, every year she gave me money. And ever since I've known her, on Christmas, since nobody else got nothing, but she would give me. And then I would always say, my grandmother had the way of telling people that she was their favorite. And of course, we found out at her funeral, they was like, yeah, she said I was her favorite. I was like, well, she lied to y'all. I was like, y'all know I ain't been her. Y'all know I'm really the favorite, right? I was getting ready to say that at her funeral thing, but I didn't say it. But I really am, though. That woman loved me some me. You hear me? Hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to drop this thing. It won't let me. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to. Oh, it's a video file. It won't let you share, but it's because it's a video file. Is that what it is? How about attachment? Will it let you show a picture? Dang, y'all. Do I have to make it a video or something? Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. So, yeah. So, yeah. What other questions? Let me see. I'm gonna do a couple more questions, and then how long I've been live? I've been live. I ain't been talking about nothing. Let's see. Next question. How did I meet my husband? Now, see, y'all getting personal. That's getting too damn personal. It's not crazy. You promise? How did I meet my damn husband? Ain't none of y'all damn business. I met my husband. Okay, I'll tell you a little this. Okay, so, okay, so originally when I first met my husband, I'll tell you that it's a little something to my story. If it ever come out, it is what it is. I done already told y'all that it's different. It's different than most way people mostly meet. But I'm not gonna get into the whole mechanics of it. But what I will tell you of how we met. Okay. So the first time I met my husband, I met him twice. The first time I met my husband, I was in the movement. And so basically I was on MySpace and oh, no, excuse me. That's a lie. Let me start first. So I met him. We were, I'm trying to think. Oh, so we were having like this little 21st Panther thingy that they had here in Louisville. It was a situation where one of our members was original Panther back in the day, right? And so this was his first time really out because he's from he was from here, from Louisville. However, he was living in living in another state. And so what happened was they was having a reunion, and so we were kind of there to protect him, just to make sure that nothing happened to him, because there was some stuff that they had put him in. They had locked him in a psych ward or whatever. It was trying to make him think he was crazy. It was just some wild stuff, y'all. I mean, and it happened to him legitimately. It's articles and everything. So anyway, they try to lock him in the mental ward or whatever. And so long story short, we were there to make sure nothing happened to him. But he's a whole nother piece of work to begin with, which we ain't gonna talk about that. I ain't gonna even deal with that subject matter. So anyway, so we came up there, and so of course, dude was there because he's from Louisville. And so he was like, and so at the end of the meeting, and then I did like a little, and I spoke at the end or whatever. Hold on, hold on, y'all. Now you know how your man leave his phone at home, and I couldn't answer it in time. I don't feel like calling him back on that phone either. So I had to call him, let him know his phone is here. I swear he be leaving everything. And that's good that you when your man can leave his phone at home, it'd not be no big deal, right? Uh Let me hold on. I'm gonna text him from his phone. Uh so anywho, so anyway, I met him, and he came into the meeting, and I spoke at the end, and I did like my little thing that I do. And I was just like, because it was my city. It was not my city, it was my region, because I was over the region. I was a regional officer or whatever. Yeah, guard, handling my business with me, but that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that at a later date. So so at the end, he's like, and everybody was like, hey, can I get a hug? And I was like, sure. And I gave everybody a hug, like, hey, or people I hadn't saw in a long time, I gave them a hug or whatever. So that he was like, can I get a hug? And I was like, yeah, it was this little guy. And I was like, look at this you know, little ninja. He was cute. And I really didn't pay attention to him. I just knew he was cute. He had a nice suit on. And I remembered the suit. And I remember what he had on. And then so, I hadn't seen him in a year. And then so a year after that, I was about ready to come down here and shut down this particular chapter because, you know, you know, silly people do silly things. And so I was coming to shut down the chapter, and long story short, he inboxed me on MySpace. So that's when the MySpace come in. So he inboxed me on MySpace, and he said, hey, don't shut down the chapter. And, we were cool, and one thing happened to another. Hold on. Yes. What's going on, son? Uh-huh. Whatever. Uh I don't know. Just send it to my cash app so I can take it to my direct account. Cause I wanted to send it to that other one. What? If you want to. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. Why would you go to Verizon when you got yeah, T-Mobile? Don't go to no Verizon. You ain't gonna be able to get the phone on. Yeah, T-Mobile. But you better make sure it's unlocked though. Whatever you want to do. If you want to get it through, if you want to get it through them, your bill just gonna be a little bit higher. But if you want to get through them, or you can go and purchase it somewhere else. But you don't worry about that. Yeah, just keep your SIM card. Yeah, and if that SIM card don't work, then we'll go to T-Mobile and do it. All right, babe. I'm live. I love you though. All right, bye. Yeah, that's my son. Sorry about that. That's my oldest son. I got to pick up for him, y'all. Now, look, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Y'all know how everybody has everybody got a little kid. Everybody got one child. That's my oldest son. Everybody got a child that is so that don't bother nobody. He one of them children that don't bother nobody. And if he needs some, I'm stopping immediately what I need to do, because them other two, they say that's my favorite. It's not. It's just he don't really ask me for nothing. He don't ask me to do nothing. Like, we on the same plan. He pays his bills. I don't have to worry about that. That middle child. I would never get on the plane with him again, because he'll act like he don't know, girl, he just don't do what he's supposed to do. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. But that oldest boy, he don't bother nobody. If he the type of person, if you he'll look out for you. Like if you need, like if you whatever you need, like he's just a go-to. If you need a babysitter, right? If you need a babysitter, he keeps my son. That's the one that'll keep my son for me. Okay, that's when I trust him to keep my son. Okay, if you need a babysitter, he'll babysit your children. He'll come over. You tell him you want him to house sit. If you tell him that, can you come here? If anybody in the family need money, not me, I don't ask my children for money. But if his siblings ask him for money, he got them. If my little boy come on, call him and say, can you come over here and play with me, big brother? He will come over here and play with you. You understand what I'm saying? He'll play the game with you. He'll if my son call him and say, can you send me brother, can you give me a little money, I want to get this game? But he'll do it behind my back. But you understand what I'm saying? He'll do it. So when you got a child like that, you stop what you're doing. You stop what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing. When you have children, well, I do that for all my children, but definitely for him, because he don't bother nobody. He handles business. He's supposed to be paying his phone bill. I don't call him and tell him, hey, give me the money for your part of the phone bill. He just do it. And sometimes he'll send me something extra just to be sending me extra. So I apologize if I interrupted our conversation, but that's my baby. Okay, y'all? I don't play about him. Now, he's my oldest, and I'm trying to find him a wife. I'm trying to find him a wife. I'm saying it publicly. I'm saying this out into the universe. I hope a wife come get him, because he a good man. He a good man. Now, he a little chocolate little drop, okay? He a good man, but he definitely, if he he definitely need him, he would have to a woman to stay on him. But he a type of person, he'll give checks. He a good man. I'm telling you, I raised that boy. That boy a good man. That boy, the only one that really hung with me. The rest of them children, they was gold. Now my daughter, me and her tight down, but shoot, that other one, he there. That's what I'm talking about. Shoot. Anyway, let's continue. What the heck was I talking about, y'all? That boy interrupted and I got to talking to y'all about that. Anyway, did I answer your question? Did I answer the question? I hope I did. Whoever that is, because I know that they listening. My 9-month old grandson, 2 days a week, we watch and get open time too. Yeah, just so the parents get free time. I watch grandson so fun and wears me out, girl. Who, I ain't watching no grandson. I mean, I ain't watched my grandchildren in a long time. I'm telling you, I try to go get them, but you know it's a lot. My oldest grandson, he 15, so he good. I can do him. He got autism, but he's smart as a whip, y'all. It's just, you can tell he has autism by certain conversations. Like, cause he'll start getting out there. He'll start going really deep with you. You be like, huh? He'll be like, yeah, and it's 1952 where the Earth was discovered. I'm just giving an example. He'll be like, it's 1952 where they came out with a new song, and then 1523. I'd be like, boy, but y'all be like that. I was like, see, that's, stop that. Like, stop that. He's like, okay. You know what I mean? I'd be like, boy, I said, you ain't gonna, I said, you gotta yes, those little ones drain you. Oh my God, yes. But them little ones, them little bitty ones, I ain't got time for that. No, I still watch them. I'm just playing. If they ask me, I'll keep them. But woo, it's a lot. Even my son, let me tell y'all the truth, that even the 8-year-old, he be like, woo, he'll be playing with them. But when we leave from them, we both be pooped. We both be pooped. I'm telling you, them little ones, boy. Woo. Them little four, it's four of them. Woo. That the little bitty baby, woo, Lord, just as mean as a snake. Mean as a snake. You hear me? She just look at you and hit you. She a Gemini. She just mean. She's just mean. She mean to people. And I wanted, I don't call my grandchildren bad, but she definitely mean. I assure you, she is mean. And nobody want to talk about that, but she mean. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how nobody feel about it. I would tell that little girl, I could touch her and she'll try to hit me. It's just mean. Um, Let's see the next question. Yeah, so that's basically that's how I met him, and from there, we grown, okay, and we're gonna leave it at that. But again, yeah, I met him through the movement. So to answer your question, I met him through the movement. Okay. Let's see what other question that I had. What other question did let me ask this other question. Hold on, let me I got a question on the paper. I'm not answering all these questions on the paper today. We'll have to continue that another day. Here's one question. First of all, I can't read my own handwriting, but that's another conversation. I write sloppy. Uh what do I ain't answered that. Let me skip that one. Hold on, y'all. Let me find a question that I'm not answering because I've already addressed that one earlier. I don't want to revisit that because I don't want nobody trying to say, I'm not answering. I've already answered it. Okay, so let's move on. The next question is, what do I think about women who decide to go back to school? Okay, I think it's great that you go back to school. I think people should do what they want to do. That's a interesting question, I guess. Have I ever been on public housing? I think I talked about that earlier. Yes, I've been on public housing before. I think it was about a year. I want to say it was a year and maybe a year and a half or so. I want to say that, but I was like in my, I was like 17, 18, somewhere like that. And I think at 19 is when I left the apartment. I was still paying the rent there, of course. But it was like I was 19 and I was about to turn 20 like some months later. Does that make sense? Okay, so yeah, so yeah, I shared that. But did I so yeah. Let's see. What are my thoughts on my jazzy life? My true thoughts without playing. So my true thoughts is that she need to get herself together, and she is a pity party person. She always feels sorry for herself. She doesn't want to really advance, and she's like the she uses YouTube like welfare, right? My opinion, she uses YouTube like welfare as well as the cash apps. Um, what are my thoughts on child support? I think that people should pay their child support. I think that if you owe child support, if you don't owe, because sometimes people will act like the person owes and don't. So that happens. So no, I believe that if you owe child support, you should pay them. Do I believe at what point in time do I think that people should cut child support off, or when do you stop taking care of your children? I think you never stop being there for your children, but I think at certain points you should cut them off financially, because if you don't cut them off, they're going to be forever in your pocket. My children do not ask me for money unless they really need it. And then if they need money, of course, if it's a situation where, let's say, they be like, Mama, I need just some gas money. In between, I can't do whatever. I will loan it to them, and it is a loan, but they have to pay me back. It's not about me needing the money. It's because it will stop them from asking and sticking in your pockets. Yes, always go back to school, and so many advance keep up. Yes. So yes, so I think at a certain period of time, I think that you have to cut your children off financially, and you actually should cut them off from living with you. I think after a certain period of time, my children did live with me for a little while. All of them, when they got older, when they hit their 20s, they were living with us, and I had to put them out. I didn't put them on this like get out because y'all trifling. I was just like, look, everybody's grown. I'm giving y'all 6 months to live here to get yourself together. And they did. They actually got their own apartments. They're doing good. They're all in careers. They all have careers and stuff like that. So I'm okay with it. All of my children have trades, and some have like an education. Some of them have. One of them have. Two of them have college credits and stuff. They have some college training, associate's degree. But for the most part, they have trades. Another one of my sons, my middle son, has a trade. My youngest one is young in school, in grade school. Um, what made me to decide to be monetized off YouTube? Why not? I'm on here anyway. I'm always supporting people's chat. I'm always a mod for everybody. So why wouldn't I eventually decide to get on here? Um, so yes. So that's why I may as well be on here. I mean, everybody else on here being monetized and having fun. Why not me try to get some of this YouTube money? Everybody else getting it. Uh, I'm not doing that with my life. No, I'm just playing. When I say I do that with my life, that's that's a joke. That's a saying that we say around here in my house. Um, these are lazy mommies, never work, just making it through the day. Do they understand when kids grow up? No 401k, 401k, I'm sorry, or anything. Hope these kids can move forward in their education. Right. Um, have I actually have had a real job? Yes, I have. I've had plenty of real jobs. I've had professions, right? I've had my career. My career before I became a life coach was healthcare administration. That was my career before I became a life coach. And But I always been a life coach, really my whole life. But when did I get once I became certified, right? Um, then I started working in that field. Why do I have so many? My next question is, why do I have so many degrees? That's a two form question. One reason why I have, one reason why I have a, well, originally, like I told you, it started off as identity crisis because I didn't know what I wanted to do. In the regular world, I'm gonna say, let me say this: in the regular world, that would make I can say that, like associate degree, like healthcare administration. The other one, computerized accounting. Another one, shoot, I got so many associate degrees, it's ridiculous. Another associate's degree was in information specialist, microbiology, biologist. It may be flipped. I can't remember. I have to go look at the degrees in my closet downstairs. But anyway, something like this. Information systems. We're just gonna say information systems, okay? Those degrees, any of those degrees, were based off my of me trying to find myself and figure out what I wanted to do in life. Because I didn't necessarily want to do healthcare, but because I was in that field, I was always working in that field, and that's what most people do in St. Louis, right? And that's a field to really get into. It's really easy to get into, and not only easy to get into, it's like a high demand for it. So why not? As a life coach, how do you feel about Chrissy Jazz and Live lifestyle? Um, Personally, okay, professionally, I feel that they all suffer from low self-esteem. I feel like that they all or trying to still find themselves. This is just being honest. This is not me clowning them or anything like this. To be honest, I think that they all have low self-esteem, and they all probably suffer from trying to find who they are. I don't believe that they know who they are. I think that they aren't really in tune with their bodies, their minds, their souls. They don't know what they want really out of life. And it shows, right? It shows every time they make a move or every time they do certain things. It shows that they don't really know what they want. It shows not just what they want as far as a career or as a lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with being on YouTube, but to me, I've always been taught to always have a backup plan. That's how I was raised. That's why I have a lot of incomes generated. And that's why I believe in having, like, that's why I said I want to have some money coming from YouTube. I want to have money coming from my businesses. I want to have money and other things that I do here on the side that I just do, and, you know, and pay off the table, whatever, you know. Um, I just think that it's important that they really try to find themselves before it's too late. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend what I went through for anybody else to have to go through. To finally to hit at 30 some years old and finally figure out, but it's never too old. You're never too old, or you're never too young or old to figure out. But I always want people to know that I would rather people try to figure it out before they turn a certain age. But hey, if you don't figure it out, I don't recommend you do that. But I think that it's a difference between switching to do something differently than trying to still find who you are. You don't know who you are till you hit like in your 40s. I don't recommend that, right? And so that's what the saddest thing about the mommy sector, I mean the mommies in the mommy sector, is they still don't understand who they truly are. They don't understand their power. They don't understand their worth. They don't understand like they can actually do better besides YouTube. I mean, YouTube is an addition. YouTube should be an addition. Um, I think I can't remember who said that. It might have been Flo or somebody. It may have been one of the other young ladies. I can't recall, and I'm not being funny. But I do remember them saying it, and I do agree with that. I think it would make sense for you to try your best to try to find out who you are before you decide to continue further, especially if you have the more children you have, you're going to be really in a sunken place. You're welcome, honey. You're going to be in a sunken place because you still don't know who you are. And I don't advise that. And I know that it was difficult in raising my first set of children because I did not know who I was. And that was a battle, to be honest with you. I battled that because I didn't know who I was and I was still searching for an identity. And I was still trying to find who I was trying to find something that felt familiar, but yet I don't know. I can't explain it. And I think that when you're raising children, you should kind of know who you are. And that's definitely a conflict. And so you can kind of mess your children up a little bit along those ways. So I had to apologize, right? Because of me trying to be self-discovery. My children definitely, they throw stuff up. Your children would throw stuff up in your face. I'm telling you, they're good at that. And so I had to apologize. So why do that? So now that I know who I am, and in the second rebirth, I should say, of raising children and getting to know my children all over again, my older children all over again, because we're still building over here, right? So they're getting to know me all over again as a different type of mother, as them being adults and I'm being adults, and they're having children. So now they understand um what it's like now because they're older and they're like, oh, that's why mama did blah blah blah, and a lot of things are kicking in for them. So that certainly would be sad, and not knowing yourself and then having children, and I think all of them don't know who they are, not even close to know who they are, and it's not okay, right? When you have children, you should at least know. You should have a ideal of who you are. An ideal, it don't have to be set in stone, but just an ideal, and then you can kind of build off that ideal. But they don't have an ideal. Let me read what you said here. Okay. They think a man will refill their life and think a man will save them. Exactly. And it don't work like that. It does not work like that. It does not work like you trying to get, they told you, I mean, you listen to these songs. I don't know if they ever listen to these songs, but Captain Hole. And a man's not gonna save you. I mean, you have to save yourself, you know what I mean? You have to save yourself and you have to build yourself and you have to understand. But and taking that life coaching course, I'm telling you, it really helped. It helps so much. And I think a lot of times and I've had people and I've trained other people to become life coaches, and a lot of people didn't make it out because it forces you to look within and deep down inside of yourself, and you like discover all your vulnerabilities. And I think that a lot of them, they come on here with fake vulnerabilities. That stuff don't be real. It be surface level stuff, right? It be obvious stuff like, oh, Jasmine is well, I don't know what was her Instagram. She tried to be vulnerable about needing help, or about being overwhelmed. That's like surface level. Duh. You know what I mean? Duh. She don't know herself and understand herself, so quite naturally she's going to do stuff that's like dumb. You know what I mean? Because she don't know herself. Hell, you know. So quite naturally it's going to formulate like that. So why would you think that, right? So when my daughter turned 30 years, got a phone call and she thanked me for being on top of her in their grades and grounding her, right, and ground her. LOL. I don't play, me neither. And I was hard on my children, and they were, and I regret, being so hard at times because I didn't really hug them as much. And so when Jasmine was like, well, I don't really like to be touched and stuff. And I was just like, wow. I was like, I wasn't, I'm not going to say I understood that, but I'm going to say that I still hug my children, but I wasn't really, I could have been way more affectionate toward them as opposed to being so hard. You know what I mean? But I really wasn't. But my ex was like really not. He wasn't as he was more so the softer parent. I would say that. And I was the harder parent. So I was placed into a masculine role, so to speak, on that level, as far as with the children, because he would kind of like let them kind of get away with a little bit more. I was me, not so much, right? Um, so I think that sometimes that happens, but again, that just goes from her upbringing and how she was raised and how she identifies with motherhood. And I could tell by her and Cheryl Ross. Cheryl's not very affectionate, and some mothers are like that, though. Some mothers are like that. Yes, Dr. A had full college money, but she had to do summer classes and winter classes to get it all done in 4 years. Yes, I paid my way through college too. At certain points, I did receive loans and grants. I did get grants. I got scholarships too. But then at certain points, I had to pay my way. Especially the later years, especially I'll tell you when I had to start paying. I had to start paying for college. I paid for my college when I was working on my information systems degree. The rest were loans. When I went to obviously the life coaching courses and all the other courses. Oh, I didn't answer that other question. Someone else asked me, did I the other degrees that I have. Okay, so as far as my business is concerned, those students loans are paying. Yes, I had student loans. Yeah, I'm still paying on them as a matter of fact. But yeah, so the other courses that I have gotten now, I've paid cash for them, and I just in case any of my clients need them, I'll have them on spare. So yeah, so that's pretty much. I'm done, y'all. I think I've talked enough. Hopefully I've been as about as vulnerable as I possibly am going to get right now. I can't be vulnerable every day, right? We can't be vulnerable every day. People will try, and nobody can use anything against me, right? Because I don't have to tell you everything to tell you that, hey, I've been there, done that. I've done a lot of things under the sun, I assure you. I've done things that I'm not so proud about, and I've done things that I'm very proud about, right? Because we're all a part of a human class. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I'm not going to celebrate my mistakes. Some of them, I'm like, wow, if I hadn't made that mistake, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? So if it wasn't for my mistake, I wouldn't have grown, and wouldn't have had the uh, I haven't been able to meet my son, or I wouldn't been able to have a good relationship with my daughter, or I wouldn't have met my husband if I hadn't have done this or that, or this or that, or I hadn't have met my biological mother if I hadn't gone through this. You know what I mean? So everything happened for a reason. So do I, think that certain things were a mistake? Sure. Would I do it again? Yes. Yes, I would, because it wouldn't have gotten me to the point that I am now. And I no longer live with depression. I'm not listen, let me tell you something. I'm not getting ready to be depressed. I'm not getting ready to be miserable. I swear to God, y'all, even if I have a bad dream, and I do have them from time to time, right? Um, but I'm not getting ready to live a life of misery. Like, I have lived that life before, and I'm not never a mistake, but a learning lesson. No, child, I made mistakes, child. But I just flipped them into something better. You know what I mean? But you're right, right? Yeah, I can see it from that point of view, right? Um, but I definitely appreciate everything I've been through, because I'm not going to live a life of misery. I'm not going to be miserable. I'm not ready to be upset. I'm not ready to be fighting outside of my door. I'm not ready to go through none of that stuff. I promise you. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I'm not ready to be fighting outside. I'm not ready to be cursing nobody out in front of my house. I'm just gonna be I'm just gonna curse out people. When I react on them, and if they bring their people over, I'm gonna curse them out. But the only persons I'm gonna curse out. But I'm not getting ready to be walking around miserable. I swear to God, if you only knew, y'all, I wake up happy every day. Everything you did molded you, yes, correct, into the woman that you are today. And I still got some ways to go, right? I still got some great things that's coming into my life. But I wake up, I swear to God, I wake up every day happy. I wake up every day smiling. I hear that little thump in there. I hear that mommy, mommy, mommy. That's how you talk. You be like, mommy. Y'all probably hear me in the background go, mommy. You know what I'm saying? You got an accent. I love that. I love it when my daughter calls me and be like, Mom, 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 girl, I got some gossip. I'm like, what, girl? What happened? What happened? What happened? What did do? What to do? You know what I mean? I love it when my oldest son called me. I just tear up. It makes me so happy. When my middle child called me, I'd be so happy. My daughter calls me every day, so them two boys don't call me as much, because they grown, but they think they grown, right? But yeah, I love her in that face. I mean that energy. I love that. When my husband comes home, I'm excited when my husband come home. Each and every time he comes home, I don't have a bum for a husband. I don't have a man who beats on me, or who is talking to who disrespects me, who's talking to Susie and Sammy and Renee and all these different things. I could leave my phone alone with him. He could leave his phone. You know what I mean? I got my own email open. He'd be like, go in my email and send this text out and do this and do that. You know what I mean? I have that kind of relationship. I actually like my husband. I have fun with him. We laugh, we joke, we talk about people, right? We enjoy each other's company. Like when that pandemic was happening, child, we were still having fun. We were still enjoying. He was still going to work. We still enjoyed each other company. I kind of fussed at him. I fuss at him, though. I do fuss, y'all. I know I get on my husband's nerves, but I mean, it is what it is. That's a part of my love language. If I fuss at you, that means I love you. I promise. Um, he sounded excited when he came home for lunch the other day. I was. He was excited. He be so excited. Y'all don't understand. We be loving each other. I'm telling you. When he comes home, and when my son sees him, if my son hears that door open, my son will run to that door. I'm like, boy, quit running that door. He look out the window first. It's a big window when you're walking down the stairs, so you can see right outside. You can see the whole entire parking lot, right? Um, and so he's so excited when his father come home, when daddy come home, he's so excited. He loves his dad. But if I come home, girl, he still be in his room. He would not budge. I'm just telling you the truth. He love me, but he see me all the time. But yeah, we just kind of connect like that. And I don't and look, and I know a lot of people get on here and they be like, you so what is the word? They'd be like, oh, you be like, I had this one sister that I met her on the YouTube streets, and she used to be like, oh, you always caping for people, you always caping for me, and I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you will pick me because no, she didn't call me no pick me. She called me. She said, what is that? What that one girl on YouTube be saying? She said that I'm definitely for. I'm not a feminist. I'm like, no, I'm not a feminist. I'm a familyist. I believe in family. I mean, what you want from me? I'm an adoptive child who met a wonderful family, right? And who met great people along my way, that I respect and love, right? And then I have a biological family and I love them, right? And I love my family who raised me. So what is the problem? Does daddy do more of the playing? Yes. Daddy definitely will get on there and play with him more. I mean, yeah, because I don't do all that, y'all. Look. We'll do movies. I'm more of a person that take my son to the movies. Every now and we'll play. I don't like playing games with him. And I'm going to tell y'all why. He's a sore loser. Your husband too? Yeah, he's a sore loser, y'all, and he can't take it. My little son is a little sexist. Okay, he don't like losing to no females. Even when we go to jujitsu, he's like, I don't want to. If she toss me around, and he be laughing. The little girls that be trying to fight him and doing jujitsu, he'll be like, oh, he'll be like laughing at them, and it's not okay. And I'm trying to raise a little boy so he'll be like a little sexist pig, but I'm telling you, he got it in his spirit. I promise. I'm trying to get him out of it, but he's kind of sexist just a little bit. Just I hopefully God work on him in that respect. But he don't think little girls can do anything. He saw me doing something. He's like, I can't believe you can do that. Because we went to Six Flags, and it was like how you be playing, how you win basketballs, and I kept on hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. And he was like, how do you do that? I just lifted my arm and say swoosh. And there are all these all my tall sons, they was trying to hit it, and I was like, give me that. And I said, give me my ball. You know what I mean? So yeah. He will grow out of that. I hope so, godly, please. So I don't know, girl. I don't know. So yeah. I find myself a little bit I find myself just a little bit you know just loving my family. I do. I'm not getting ready to sit up here, and I have, I raised a lot of sons. I'm raised way more sons than I have daughters, right? And so because I raised more sons, and I tell my daughters the same thing I tell my sons, it's on different levels. I have real conversations with my daughter, and I have real conversations with my sons. I need another daughter though, y'all. But my other daughter, she's gonna hate on that. Yeah, next time my daughter come on her live, say what's wrong with your mommy getting another daughter? Say that to her. See what she say. Why she get indignant, right? Anyway, so I find myself wanting to. I just find myself just not caping for men, but I think that there's a balance. I understand why certain men. Now listen. I don't deal with the little crazy men. We talking about them, but we talking about men that are decent. We talking about decent men. You can borrow mine, right? Yeah, I think there's some really good men out here, and I think that sometimes some of y'all women be sleeping on some of these men because there's some really good men. How I know, because I deal with a lot of men. I have a lot of clients who are males. I have a lot of male clients, just like I have female clients. I have a lot of male clients, y'all. Believe it or not, they get life coaching from me. They get herbs from me. They get psychic readings from me. Um, and I really find it, and I really find that these because I know they're really good and they just want love too, and it men have some of the same vulnerabilities that we have as women, but just in a different way, right? And so anyway, the girl was like, oh yeah, well, I don't understand why you so big on men's cares and needs. I said, I'm the same way as far as women cares and needs and wants. You know what I mean? And I had like three people, I swear to God, three people was like, how does adoption kid get more love than I get? Huh? That's weird to me. It's like, I'm glad I came from the family that I came from. I'm glad that and I will forever, show respect and loyalty toward my biological family in a sense, but I would just as much, if not more, to the family who raised me, because they was there for me. They was there through the times when I bumped my knee, when I, had all these identity crises, because I've had a lot of them. We're not even gonna talk about that. If that ever came to YouTube, hey, it is what it is, y'all. What y'all want me to say, it's nothing really to say. It's like we all go through stuff, and I'm not gonna be shamed for anything in my past. And I think a lot of times people do that here on YouTube. It's like, okay, just own up to it. That's all you can do, is just own up to it and be like, hey, yeah, that's what happened. I mean, big deal. So I mean, we all have done wrong, right? We all have done things that are not really. I don't talk about it. I don't talk about a lot of things out of respect for my husband, right? And my children, because my children be like, "Mama, don't talk about that," and I respect that. Just like just Jasmine should do, just Jazzy should do. She should really refrain from talking about certain things. Like her daughter doesn't feel comfortable with that. Absolutely not, be proud, right? So I respect my family in regards to talk about certain things. I even asked my biological mom, I said, would you be does it offend you when I talk about my adoption story, or my the way what happened to me? And there's certain things that I wouldn't come on here and talk about, my son's history. They didn't know nobody damn business. I wouldn't even talk to that about, that situation. Next question. I said I'm trying to get off of her. Y'all asking questions. The next question, I just got uh, um, this is the same question that somebody just texted me on my Instagram. So I'll read it. It's actually the same person that wrote it. So I would read it off this paper. And they asked me how old was my son when we got him. So about 4-ish, 5, somewhere around there. Years old. So he's been here for a little while now. Um, because someone asked me what was my hold on, I just got the text again. Woo, got no text. Okay. How was me meeting him? How did that go? How did that come about? I guess that's what they're trying to say. How meeting of your son came about. Okay, so I try my best to answer that without really disclosing a lot of information. Okay, so Jazz begs too much. Yes, she does. Um, so what happened was, they have this information here on they have on when you're adopting, they'll have information on the adoption summary, what they call, like, if you go to a website. Well, let me just go to the website. I'll give an example. Let me find a. Oh, I'm gonna find a random website. I ain't gonna do it for my area, because I don't want people to know where I live at. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, okay? Because it's none of nobody's business. I got stuff to lose, and I'm telling you, if that's not okay, you know. Um, Cause I know Jasmine and Olivia people be looking for that kind of stuff, and they'll be trying to, make up fake accounts and try to look for your stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm not with all that. Cause my sisters over here in this sector, we don't do that. Shoot, I'm trying to find. I don't want. If I put that area up, y'all know. I don't want. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second here. Hold on. God, it keep coming back to my area. Okay, here's one area. Let's do that. Okay. All right. So, let's see. Okay, this is not a great website. Here, I'll do this one. I found one. Hold on. I'm trying to find one that I don't use. Okay. Okay, here we go. I found a good one. Okay, so let me share this, and I'll show Wisconsin, where I live. Okay, cool. Okay, so for example, we're gonna do this. Okay, so right here, you see the part area where it says log in. You would click on that. They will give you a passcode and an email address, and you log into that. And they have an area where it says, okay, for example, let me make sure. So right here, you see these beautiful children on here? Yeah. So what you'll go to is that area, meet the children. So you'll go into this area, but this, when you log in, it's a back way. Okay. It is a back way. So for example, right here, let me click on this. So you see right here, you adopt, like right here, about the children, search adoption kids. And this on here will have like the state. These are different states where you can find the child in. So for example, let's say your area, let's say Missouri. Let me do Kentucky. Let's do that. So basically you will meet the kids. You'll click on that. But this is a back area. This is the public area that you all will be entitled to. So I was given a state for you to look up. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, you said you are in Wisconsin. Okay. I don't have the back way, so I don't have the back way to get in here. If I do, by me having, and if I do have the back way, I couldn't go into the back way to show you all that portion because it's like private and I can't like release anybody information, but I could just go to a general website and kind of show you. So what I was saying was like the log in, right? Let's see, where am I at? Okay, where the heck is it at? Where did I go? Oh, okay, Wisconsin Adoption Agency. Okay. Okay, so let me go through the state. What happens? Adoption agency, state. Okay, I don't know about this one. I think adopted foster care program. I'm not sure if this is the state one. Let's see. It would say gov. It would have government. You would kind of know. Mm, I don't know. I think this might be it right here. Okay, right here. I think this is it. I'm not sure. Okay, don't quote me. So what happens is that okay, so it will have an area on here where you log in, they will send you, I'll look it up in a second. They will send you a passcode, an email address, just like if you were logging into whatever you were trying, like if you were trying to pay a bill. I'm just giving an example. You will have that information. And so on that area, it'll have what they call adoption summary, where you get to look at the kiddos, you get to look at their history. In some states, like in the state of Pennsylvania, they can't tell you nothing. So if you they can't tell you anything, you can call them over the phone and be like, I'm interested in this child, and they'll have the caseworker information number. You call them and be like, I'm interested in child 5532 F. Her name is Renee Boo Boo, you know what I mean? And she'll go, okay. And then she'll give you a little information about her or whatever. But in most states, you don't have that information. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm sorry, not in all state. Well, my state, I do. In the other states that I'm trying, you know what I mean, that you can do, you can also do out of state adoption. It's a little bit more difficult, but you can do it. Okay, so you want me to look this up. So for example, right here, child care assistant programs. Okay, so right here, adoption, right here. So if you're wanting to qualify to figure out how to adopt a child, how to become a parent, how to become an adoptive parent, you'll click on this, of course, and then you're gonna look up, define how you want to do it. If you want to do a public adoption, if you want to do a relative adoption, you want to do a stepchild adoption, step parent, or whatever, private, domestic, international. And that actually you can still adopt international if that's something you want to do. So become adoptive home. What you first have to do is take classes. The first thing you have to do is take classes. Um, Parenting, they're basically kind of parenting classes on top of learning how adoption works and everything. And they kind of freak you out about telling you stuff. That's why I didn't want to, people ask me, I'll be like, look, I would rather you go through the process, because I think it would kind of freak you. If I tell you when you first have those classes, they will freak you out. I'm telling you. They will tell you certain things, and they'll tell you the most worst and horrible stories, but it don't have to be that way, because when you get the paperwork, and like I said, when you go into those systems and you see the system, you got to remember, think about a teacher. Okay. You listen, think about a teacher, right? Okay. So this is your state. Okay. This is how you would do it. So you would just click on here, and you have your choices between this here, you know what I mean? So you go through here and see, you read all this. So what you can do is, click on here, and you click over here to get to this website to adopt. So this information is an informational website. It just kind of tells you about different ways to adopt and things like that. So I'm talking about two different things. So let me make sure I explain myself a lot, because I have a lot in my head. And sometimes when you have a lot in your head, like myself, I have to get out. And I'm glad when people ask questions, but you have to keep me straight and narrow. So you would have to go here. Now, I don't know if this for sure is state. It might be. And if it's not, then you would ask them, like, do you have the state information adoption? Because you want to go through state. State is free. But like I said, you just have to pay like for your lawyer, but they reimburse you. They do reimburse you, or you can just go through your lawyer. Be like, look, when you first get the child in your home, you can already get your lawyer, and then talk to your lawyer and be like, look, how much are you costing? No, the adoption is normally like $1,200. The state will pay for it, but you do have to pay the lawyer the filing fee. I am going to tell you that the filing fee is like $200. Some people have actually done the adoption without a lawyer and basically filed the information themselves. But I went ahead and went to a lawyer because it was my first adoption. So that's kind of how you do that. But anyway, so when you look up your information, I mean, when you look up on the children, it has like what would they call adoption summaries. And so what you're going to do is you'll look up the adoption summaries of the child, and it'll give you like the history, how many times they were placed in, what happened with the biological parents. It's not going to have the biological parents information. But what I am going to tell you this is once that child gets in your home, it depends on what stage you're in. If you're in the stage of rights have not been terminated, then you will know their parents. If the rights have been terminated, more than likely you will not. I'm not going to go to any of that, but and then you may see, once you get that child in your possession, you will probably see some of the information, and you may see some names on there. Okay, so what I would advise you to do is put that stuff up, and when you're ready to talk to that child about, if you have a little kid and they don't really know who their family is, I will put that information up, especially when they start reading, because you don't want to, they know, but you want to tell them at the right time if they don't know. But if they know, then I mean, they know where they came from or whatever, in those cases. But nevertheless, so that's why I said I got stuff loose, you know what I mean? So they'll have the information in there, and you just kind of figure out. And then what you do is you contact your caseworker and you say, hey, I'm interested in child BBCDEFG Renee Tukubel. And they'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to contact Tukubel's caseworker, and I'll get back with you and let you know. And if you have a really good relationship with your caseworker, then they will personally, more than likely, if there's sometimes they be in the same office and sometimes they be in opposite offices, right? So so your caseworker probably cool with that other caseworker. They're like, oh yeah, that's a good family, you should let, whatever. And so they will contact you back and say, hey, yes, such and such is available. Would you like to do an interview for Renee? And you're like, yeah. So they'll do an interview with you, and man, they'll be asking you some wild questions, right? And so you have to kind of do a presentation. You want to do the best presentation you possibly can do. I done got to the point where I've had so many interviews, I just already know how to do it. And I just feel like either you're going to do it or you're not. You know what I mean? What age is good to tell them, or does it depend on the child? I think it depends on the child. I think that if the child knows that they're adopted, which my child does, my child knew. I mean, he he just kind of, well, I'll share this with you. They kind of just dropped him off and was like, hey, little buddy, I'm getting ready to go and eat some food, and you're here with your friends. That's how they introduced him to. That's how we had play dates. We had a couple of play dates, and nobody told him he was coming to stay with us. We had a couple of play dates and things like that. I got pictures and everything of the paper of the play dates that we did, and we used to do play dates because it was during the pandemic. So we had play dates over the telephone, and we did where video chats and stuff like that. We did a lot of video chats, and we would play cards when he was playing cards, and I would just go in his room that he knows his room now and play cards and just try subtly introduce and say, hey, you can come over here, this is what I have. He's like, well, I have to ask my mom. I was like, okay, no problem, ask your mom. And she's like, yeah, it's okay. My mom said I can come over there and stay with you guys for a little while. I can come and spend the night. I was like, yeah, that's so excited. You know what I mean? So we were just the other party, and the other party, the foster parents basically was like, hey, we worked together. We were really good working together and bringing him here. But the state didn't really do nothing. I'm telling them caseworkers probably not as good as people think they are. I'm just telling you the truth. So he kind of dropped him off. It was like, hey, buddy, had all his stuff and everything, y'all. I was like, okay, buddy, I'm getting ready to go to McDonald's and get some food, and I'll see you later. And we was just like, okay. So he, dark started coming, so he started looking around like, it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock, and he's like, yeah, so am I going back home? And then me and my husband looking at each other, we was just like, hey, just pull the rubber band up. You are. And this is how I think about how cruel this is, y'all. Think about this, though. And I'm like, my husband's like, you are. I didn't even know what to say. I'm like, my heart is palpitating. I'm like, son, and then my husband's like, you are home, son. And he was like, oh, okay. Can I call you mommy and daddy? He was like, yep, sure can. First day, right? He had all his toys. See, I already, one of the things that we did as a family, we already had all of his stuff here. We didn't introduce him to any of the other children yet, but we had already had all of his stuff here. We had like new clothes. He had new clothes. I was asking the foster parents like what size shoes he wears, what size he, what he looked like. I sent her pictures like, do you think, and just ask her some of the things that she did in her home, in their home, what to do, because I didn't really talk to the husband that much. My husband did, we worked together, and I talked to the wife and my husband talked to the husband. And, so they were like, well, we have this in our house, you have this in your house. So we said, okay, we kind of wanted to keep certain things different, but yet, the same, but yet you're going to experience differently, right? So I had already had his clothes. We already had his bed. We already had his favorite things that he liked. Like he liked, at the time he liked Paw Patrol. So we already had Paw Patrol, blanket and, like comforter and, the couch. We wanted to make sure he had a couch in his room in case, we wanted to come in there and sit down. We didn't want to sit on his bed. Like let him know, hey, this is your bed, because he didn't have his own space in the other place he left, right? So we wanted to make sure that he had everything he possibly could need. He had clothes, he had a new coat, he had new shoes, he had new socks, new underwear, everything, right? Had a new TV, right? He had a game system. We had already had all that. We didn't have, we pretty much tried to have everything, which is why my account had dwindled, because we were using our savings account to get everything. Do you feel that they have abandonment issues? Of course. If you don't feel comfortable, please don't share. Just curious. Yes, absolutely, abandonment issues. Yes, children. Yeah, we tend to, as adoptive children, we certainly do have abandonment issues, because think about it like this. It's like, who wants us, right? Especially if you've been to different places. Like, it's not a point of somebody decide. And sometimes families can decide not to, they could really bond with you, but something happens in their life. Let's say that get laid off from a job or whatever. And of course they have to give you up, and have to put you back in the States. But what I love, well, okay, what I loved about his family was that his foster family was that they pretty much already knew what it was. And what I liked about them was that they really worked with us on the transition. State didn't do nothing. Please, just what I would advise people: if you're going to adopt, don't depend on state to facilitate anything. You have to be the person that initiates that. And if you look up like we did and meet the great foster family, that pretty much was never going to adopt anyway, right? Because of the foster, that they really wanted to work with us. The caseworkers aren't really like that. You might get, every so often you may find a really good caseworker. In our particular case, I think the best people, the team, I thought was really great together. I think that what was he the the child's of school age, they have what you call educational liaison or something like that. They different states do vary, but they'll have a person that works with them with their education, right? And you get a really good one. I had a really good one. I still talk to her this day. Oh my gosh, she was awesome. I hope that if we adopt again, I hope to find that particular caseworker. I hope she's on that case, because she was so good. And also what I did like about state was that, like I said, the educational liaison, they give you that the child gets an advocate, right, and a caseworker. You get a caseworker, the child gets a caseworker, advocate. And let me tell you, the biggest person to the child's advocate trumps the child's caseworker, because sometimes them caseworkers be in and out. Okay. Your child, if you're, the child might have like 10 caseworkers by the time you adopt them. I promise you, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Like, think about it. They have to go through a lot of stuff. Just like we were talking about nurses earlier, the caseworkers have to go through a lot of things. Sometimes they be wrong and sometimes they be right, and it just be too much on them. And I can certainly understand, right? But I stayed on them. I got on their nerves. I know I did, because I was like, look, he don't. This happened. This happened. What are y'all gonna do? You know what I mean? Um, but So, and then your child is actually the child has to get therapy. So to answer that about the abandonment issues, they help them with that. They get therapy. And if they have behavior problems, which thank God my child didn't have to go through this, but if he did, so what? If he did, I would, I wouldn't, but I should have, I mean, it's over now. So he didn't have to get it. Let me just tell you, he did. Okay. For the record. But they would get behavior therapy. It's some children that may have been in foster care that maybe didn't know how to eat because maybe their parents starved. I mean, it'd be some wild stuff, right? And maybe maybe they won't allow the child to, they didn't let the child to eat or whatever. I mean, just something crazy. I'd be surprised at some of that stuff that come across. I don't want to say my desk. I do have a desk, though. But I mean, some of the stuff that came across my computer screen, I was like, oh my God. I was like, and of course, you want to just adopt everybody. But you can't, right? The child might need help, therapy on how to eat and how to, not hide food and stuff like that. But yeah, they make the child go through therapy, and you have to, do therapy with them. And I find, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I thought that was really good. I did find it very helpful. It definitely, what I liked about therapy was that it taught him and I to communicate better. When he first got here, the honeymoon period, you go through the honeymoon period. Of course, they're going to be on their best behavior because they don't want you to, go, no, we not, no, you crazy, no, but I fell in love with this little boy. Well, I'll tell you this story. I'll tell you his story. He doesn't mind. I mean, I don't mind telling you this, but I'm not going to, some things, obviously not, right? I'm going to tell you the good things, okay? I'm not going to tell you, I'll tell you how state is. I can tell you that kind of stuff. And, that I can share that with you because if you look online, you will see all that, right? But some things like his beginnings, I would never share that ever, ever. I would never share that. The people that know, they know. And if they ever said something, that'll be one way to make me hurt somebody. I'm just being honest with you. Okay. But let's talk about it. So again, I already told you how the adoption, I already told you how the website is set up. I kind of explained to you, hopefully you understand. So like I said, the summary information is basically why the child was taken. It explains why the child was taken, on what day the child was taken, if the rights were terminated. You'll see a TPR, right? Um, what their TPR was. If the rights wasn't terminated, I would never advise anybody to do a high risk adoption, because a high risk is that the child could possibly be taken out of your home back again and sent to maybe into kinship. But I would do legal free. That's what you want to go for. If you're trying to adopt, legal free, meaning that they're legally free to adopt because rights have been already terminated. So yeah. So anyway, so I'm looking through these. Keep in mind, this one little boy we were going to, that we were interested in originally, and I can share this story with you because we didn't take him. Thank God. Ooh, you talking about Damien, but I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, so he was. You do these interviews. We were doing these play dates of talking, a conversation of trying to, and his, So anyway, the last straw, we had did like 3 dates, and he started to warm up to us a little bit. I mean, we would have had to go through a lot, and he was a little bit older because we were willing to adopt older. So it wasn't like we were discriminating, but who though? You know what I mean? It was just, and once he said the bank account and all this other type of stuff, I was like, no. Me and my husband and my mother-in-law was like, I don't think you should get him. That don't sound like the fit for y'all. And I'm telling you, it'd have been a mess if I got him. I already knew. Um, So we was just like, and then they called us back like later, and we was like the week later, and was like, well, do you still want 'em? We was like, no. And what I'm trying to tell you, it's okay to say no, right? It's okay to say no because this is your life, and you can determine, and you don't have to feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it because it's just, hey, it's not meant for you, right? And so what happened was, I got I looked on the website and I saw this little, I didn't see, it was like a child summary. It didn't even have any information on it. It just had a name, right? It didn't have no picture. I just read the information on there and I was like, this is interesting. I looked at the age. I was like, yeah, why not? Why not? It couldn't be no worse than no boy, right? The bank account one, the stealing of the bank account guy, right? So, and so I received the email, and then I was like, I wasn't tripping off of it. I was just like, eh. And then my husband was like, hey, you need to call. They got this little guy, and they said he's up legal risk. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I called them and I arranged an appointment, to set up an interview. So we had a group interview. Never before had I had a group interview. Usually they'll just kind of interview you one on one, but it was a group interview. It was another guy. And then he happened to be over to the guy, excuse me, he happened to be over to that person's house. And I looked at that person. I was like, oh, no, absolutely not. And I felt that spirit. I was like, no, he is not. I was like, no, I keep saying, I'm trying not to say he, but I didn't want that particular person to have him. I was like, no, I never seen the little boy before. The summary was very vague. Usually the summary give you a whole breakdown of, well, not give you enough to work with, right? How many placements? They'll tell you how many placements they've been in, why they was taken, uh how many siblings they got. They didn't have none of that on there. They didn't, you know what I mean? It was like very vague, but usually it'll tell you what date and whatever, what the person likes. It didn't have any of that on there. Okay. So anyway, I chose it. Tell you how God is, right? So I called them, contact. It was like, okay, schedule. And then I had missed the appointment. I was like, whatever. And they called me back and it's like, ma'am, you need to go on this interview. I said, okay, fine. My caseworker called me. I was like, fine. Because I was kind of bummed. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bummed because because of what happened the last time. And, I told my caseworker and I was honest. I basically tell you how I feel. That's one thing you don't have to never worry about. If you ask me a question, or if you ask me how I feel about something, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't got time. Too old to be lying to you, right? So so they had basically said that so we went to the interview and it was like a group interview. So they was interviewing. He's like, oh, he's over here right now. He's in there playing. He's like, he in there playing with my boys right now. I was like, oh Lord. I was like, let me get this boy. If y'all seen him, y'all would understand what I was saying. It wasn't, it wasn't because he was in a different community. He wasn't even in a different community. He was just anybody weirder than me, I questioned, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just playing, but I'm for real. So I was like, oh, okay. And so he was just I don't know, he was just looking at me like I was crazy. And so of course I wore my little suit like energy. Of course I wanted to look, somewhat decent. And so what ended up happening is that we interviewed for them and they were like, oh, well, your husband works too much. And they started grilling him. And my husband is a Leo. And so with my husband being a Leo, which I have to understand is he ain't with all that. Leos don't give a, especially the male Leos. The male Leos are way worse than female Leos. And you think I pretty much tell you how I feel. If you ask me how I feel, I'm just going to tell you. I don't give a damn about you, what you thinking. I'm just going to tell you, right? He really is off the chain with his situation with him, right? And so he's like, look, he did the whole Don Corleone father in The Godfather, like, I want to apologize for taking care and supporting my family or whatever. And then I called my caseworker and I like kind of ripped them during the interview. And then I called my caseworker and it was like a whole team on there. It was like potential parents that were trying to get him as well as the team that was looking out for him. Right. And then our caseworker was on there and I just kind of ripped them, and then I called my caseworker and ripped her again. And then my husband ripped them online and then they called us back and he was like, yeah, I got them. And then the next interview was us meeting him. And so we seen that little bitty round face, and he had these little devils. Oh my God, y'all, his nose, he is such a beautiful little boy. And he has these dimples that just make you melt. And you'll be thinking, you like, you could be really good. He could come in here and mess up or do something crazy. And you just look at his little face and you just go, oh, you know what I mean? And I looked at those dimples. I seen that little cute nose, and I looked at that little black brown face, and I fell in love. I said, that's my son. I didn't care what they was talking about. And we kind of asked him a question. He's like, yes, no, yes, no, because we were grilling them. And they're like, you need to grill them. I was like, no, that's not how you talk to children. And so that's from there. I knew that was my kid. We went, and then we met up at Chuck E. Cheese, and the foster parents met us up with Chuck E. Cheese, and my husband was sitting down talking to the father, and me and the mother kind of was sitting at the table with them as well. And I kind of ran around with the little boy, was playing with them, and then my husband kind of got the 401, and he was like, yeah, you go get the 401. I'm going to play with them. So then I sat down and tried to get the 401 out of them, and then we kind of worked it out where, and we worked that time out because the caseworker has been supposed to be in there, but of course the caseworkers be lazy sometimes, y'all. So we just worked it out amongst ourselves, and we just let them know where we was meeting at, what time, and what we was doing, and told them about the visit. And all you got to do is just keep pretty much in contact with the caseworkers and just let the team know, like if you go out of town, you need to let them know you're going out of town until you adopt a child. So, man, they was like, oh, you're going to have him in like 6 months. And 6 months in one day. It was not 6 months in one day. Please do not listen to these caseworkers. When they tell you that it's going to be a certain length of time, that's a lie, y'all. Do not listen to them. You have to keep badgering them. You got to sick your lawyer on them. You got to sick them. Thank you so much for such a beautiful story. You're welcome, KP. You have to get on them. You have to stay on them. You have to be the biggest advocate for your child. You do not wait for them to do anything, because people, they don't care. They don't really care because it's not their lives. They string you along. No. And then that caseworker went to a different department. So he got a new caseworker. And then they came in, and she started we had to check her right off. Like, hey, don't come over here with all that. Don't come over here with all that. This is what it is. And you have to kind of set the tone with them. You have to kind of be aggressive like that. And I'm sure that they got that in the notes. I'm sure that they put all that in our old file. I'm sure, because we was on it. We was like, look, listen, when that boy got here, he did not know. I am gonna share this with y'all so y'all can understand why I pump his education up so much. When he first got here, he did not know his ABCs. He did not know how to count. And he was like I said, 4 or 5 years old. When you that age, you should know all that, right? And it wasn't because he's slow or something's wrong with him or anything like that. It's because he wasn't taught that. He was just taught really to play, right? So when he got here, I taught him his ABCs and how to count to 1 through 60 or something like that. It might have been, I want to say 100, but I might be lying to y'all. But anyway, later on he learned that. So we taught him his ABCs, his 1 through, his numbers. And, he knew that. He went to the school. He wasn't really, he felt weird and awkward, and it was just, they were picking on him. It was just different for him. And he was struggling in school. And he was like, yeah, he's a really bright guy. He just shuts down. He was shut down because they're asking him all these questions. Think about if you were in, the system, and they're asking you all these stupid ass questions and stuff. You know what I mean? He's like, I already answered it. Why are you going to ask me again? And he kind of one of them vocal little boys. He'll tell you, like, why are you asking me this again? I mean, he speaks his mind. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So that's right up my alley, right? So, he went through that, and I took him out that school. Once I took him out of that school, I noticed once we adopted him and we took him out of that school, he really starts flourishing. The boy can read, like I said, on the 3rd grade level. Math, yeah, he's learning. He's still struggling in certain areas of math, but not really. He knows he knows how to add whatever. He knows how to do all of that, but we're kind of on the, he's struggling with borrowing, you know what I mean? Like in subtraction. So he understands it, but I have to kind of remind him like, hey, what are you supposed to do with this? You know, you're supposed to, how are you going to get this? How you just cross this out? How did you cross that out? What did you cross out to get to that? Oh yeah, the one. Yeah. And then, you know, you got to add from her, you know, addition the same way. It's just the difference. When you just bar, you carry the number. It's a difference. Just similar concepts, but different, right? So, but other than that, he's doing really good in school. It's still, you know, it's getting better for him though. It's picking up. So it's getting better for him. But, you know, I got him a tutor. So, you know, I work with him and he has a tutor. So I want to make sure even in the grades where he's not struggling, I still put a tutor in there for him, you know, just so he can actually get him over the edge a little bit. I want him to get over the edge of um higher. But anyway, so for us in our family, we you know, it took, like I said, it took like a year and some change, because we knew they were lying. And I, you know, pretty much, and our lawyer was like, oh, don't be fighting. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Our lawyer was like, hey, you don't want to piss them off because they could delay. We was like, nah, we don't care about pissing them off. I was looking at our lawyer, was like, look, you don't understand us as a couple. We're a team, and it's just, we different. He's a Leo and I'm a Taurus. So you got a bull and you got a damn lion, king of the jungle. We ain't with all that. When we come together, that's one of the things when we were in the movement. That's one of the things when we walked in the room used to shake. Y'all, you don't understand. I'm telling y'all, that's why I be wanting, like, one day he's gonna come on here. My husband's gonna come on here with me. Then you'll kind of understand. You'll be like, oh, okay, that's why. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just by myself. I'm a team. Okay. So when we got to talking to the you know, caseworkers, we had to keep pushing them and keep trying to get these papers adopted, because he's like, hey, when I'm gonna get adopted? Hey, when I'm gonna get adopted? When he's like, you don't want me? I said, yes, we do. And he got pushing us. He pushing us. We pushing him. He pushing us. He's like, can I get adopted? I want my name. We already gave him his name. He didn't. He knew his other name, but he didn't want to. He's like, I'm not writing that. The teachers, and I had to tell the teachers. I said, look, don't even introduce that new name to him. I mean, the old name to him. You need to start working with his new name. He doesn't have it legally yet. Well, we can't. I was like, I don't care what they're telling you. I'm telling you what I want you to do. And if you can't do that, then it's going to be a problem. And finally, the teacher's like, yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll do it. You know. So, you know, after he graduated from was it kindergarten. Yeah, when he graduated kindergarten, they was like, oh, we didn't have the name. By the time we didn't have the name, his new name on the certificate, he put his own name. So I just cut it out. And he was like, Mommy, can you get rid of that name? I was like, yeah, and I just cut it out. You know what I mean? And I went up, I'm cool with one of his old teachers, so I'm gonna have her to see if she can get another one and get that printed out with his new name on it. But I wind up, so it's in the case with his old name, and it's just cut out. His old name is cut out of that. And I asked him, I gave him a choice. I said, would you like to change your first name? Would you like to change your middle name? And he changed, I'll share this with you. He changed to his last name and his middle name. And his middle name is, his last name is, and his middle name, I can tell you what his names mean. I'll tell you that. His first name means, he already had like a God-like name. His name means, the first name is seer of God or something like that. The middle name is it's a biblical name. The middle name is it means prince, and it's Arabic. The last name is Swahili, and it means secret truth. Obviously, his last name is same as mine, secret truth. So I thought that was fitting of him because he definitely seeks truth. He definitely seeks knowledge. His middle name, he definitely acts like a prince. He think he my daddy. He think he think he the God to all body that he's running around. So I mean, that's what I named him. And my other children, they was very apprehensive about him, and they was kind of like, But then once he met them, they came over and they met him. We didn't do like a party because I think that would have been, I thought that may have been too much for him. So we kind of wanted to do it like normal. So what happened was I was just like, hey, your brother's here. Would you like to meet him? And of course they was like, not like that, because they're older, they're grown. And they were kind of apprehensive about it. And my daughter kind of confessed. She's like, well, actually, mommy, she told me this today. And I really was glad she said this. She said, actually, mom, we were really afraid. We was terrified. We thought he was going to be like a little Damien. I was like, that's understandable. So I was like, well, he's not, I promise you. So they came over and they introduced themselves. And then he's like, oh, you're my brother, my sister. Oh, my goodness. So he was excited. And so they brought, gifts for him and stuff like that. But we didn't really do like a formal thing. It was just kind of like we try to make it normal as possible. You know what I mean? It's, when you bring a baby home, usually you'll bring a baby home and then everybody, your siblings will come around and be like, hey, this is my new sibling, and, type of thing. And so we kind of wanted to make it normal. We didn't want to make it like an adoption ceremony, like here's an adoption ceremony. We did the adoption was done virtually, and so I got pictures. I got pictures of that too. And it's on my Facebook. I'm not sure nothing on YouTube because people that follow some of these mommies be really crazy. So we did a virtual ceremony because he came from another area state. So like I said, the state adoptions, when you adopt, you can adopt in the same state. You can also adopt out of the state that you're in. You can always adopt out of state. You can even adopt, but it just depends. Some places like Pennsylvania, what I found that Pennsylvania doesn't really have the out of state. Pennsylvania kind of leery about that. They want you to stay in the same state. And with most adoptions nowadays, they do require you. They kind of some of the biological family would want to have some type of kinship with them. I mean, it's your choice, if that's something you would like to do. I'm not going there about, my situation, because my situation is a little bit different. His situation is a lot differently. And I would not want to want to share that, because I wouldn't want. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I just felt I felt comfortable in sharing. So I kind of just felt comfortable in sharing that, because I didn't feel like talking about no mommies today. I'm so glad that you all stood there with me in light of everything, and me not showing the mommies, because I know usually I go on here and talk about the mommies. I just didn't feel like doing that today. But thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. Okay.
You say that I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit.